Okay, we are live. All right. Okay, so we are here for another interview. I'm just waiting for my guest to come on. I think he's coming on. I think he's coming on soon. We also got my friend Anthony. For our show, of course, because this is question about the magic. And they're both hopping on right now, and we're gonna add them on soon. And I just want to check just if anybody's on, just tell me if my audio's fine. Let me just put it on Instagram, like just like yeah. Okay, live now, and we're just gonna be, okay. All right, let me go on my phone, just check. Or do I sound good? Do I sound good? Or do I sound good? Do I sound good? Oh, okay, great, great. All right, cool. We got somebody on. So before we start really with the interview and before they come on, I just want to address. I addressed it last time, but I want to take a little bit more time to address that. I'm really happy with this milestone that I just got with 100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Now we're at 101. I know this isn't the biggest, accomplishment. There are people who can get to 1,000 and all that stuff. But I guess for me, for doing this for about 5 or 6 years, it's really nice that I finally got to this point. Of course, it took a while and a little bit longer than I expected, but also too, you got to make the effort and all that stuff. And it's great that I've been doing this. I want to keep doing them for you guys. I want to keep doing these projects. That's what I'm here for. And I just want to thank you guys so much. And for doing this, like for the past 5 or 6 years, I'm glad that I've been able to keep my channel this long and all that stuff. We're already half a decade through with my channel of making videos, and it's insane to me. I started doing them when I was a junior, when I was going, yeah, in the summer of my junior to senior year. And now like, yeah, that was when I was 17. Now I'm 22. So it's very interesting and all that stuff. And all right, so without further ado, we got our guest today, and he's on right now. He's a drummer in Long Island, and his name is Brandon Vassallo. And come on, man. Hey, Brandon, what's going on, man? Oh, your mic's a little off. I can't hear you. Is it me? Yeah, I can't hear you, man. Okay, all right. No, I'm sorry. All right, now we got Anthony coming on.
How about now?
Oh, okay, great. Now I can hear you.
Okay, dope. Yeah. Oh, also, my last name is Vassallo.
Oh, Vassallo. Okay. What did I
Yeah.
say?
I think you said Valasso.
Vlasso. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. 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 Yeah. No. So Anthony's just coming on, but since we're already live, let's just
Hmm.
get rolling with the interview and all that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, so yeah. So of course, so Brandon and I actually met actually a few weeks ago. We both went to Suffolk County Community College, and we were working there and all that stuff. And we now are in different schools. Now I'm up in Oswego, and you're in what school?
Purchase.
Purchase. Okay, yeah. So we're both in the upstate schools and all that stuff. And Brandon is a drummer for a band and all that stuff. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we also got our co-host coming in right now. Anthony, we're already live, man.
Live and he's muted.
Oh, and he's muted. He's muted.
Oh, and he left. God.
All right. All right. We'll wait till.
What's
What
up?
are we gonna do?
Hey, Anthony, what's going on, man? Meet our guest.
I'm
Brandon
the guest.
Did I say it right this time?
I don't know. I didn't hear. I hear a
I
bunch of
said
noise right now.
Vassallo.
Yes, that's it.
Okay,
That's
cool,
it.
cool, cool. Good,
We're
good,
good.
good. Great. That's great.
I forgive you.
Okay, you forgive me. Great.
Yes, for your
Awesome.
past sins. You know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I effed up. But here, Anthony, I'll just mute your mic until you're ready. Okay, I'm gonna start off. Okay, so Brandon, tell us a little bit about like what you do as a musician and all that.
Well, I've always played drums. I've always played drums since I was about 2 years old or so. I've just kind of known how to play drums. I come from like a Sly Cooper family line of drummers. My grandpa was a drummer, and then he taught my dad how to play drums, who taught me how to play drums. So it was always just kind of in me. I played for a bunch of school stuff when I was younger. All the classic like band and jazz band and all that. But eventually I started playing for like the orchestra program and stuff like that. Like they just had me jump in. When I was in high school, they just kind of I was like that drummer they just kind of threw around for every occasion that they needed drums for, like the pit band and for like just like different dances or like golf outing school occasions. I played with like this bassist.
Right.
Later on in high school, I did a pre-college program. I was the part of the Stony Brook pre-college jazz ensemble.
Okay.
I did Scamia multiple times. I was accepted to Scamia like about every year or so, or every year I was eligible for it. A couple times it was known that I would just get like sick during that time. I would get strep throat for some reason.
Ooh.
But otherwise, I did that. Then I just kind of went to college, and I just kind of met some people here and there. I met, Joe, my friends Joe and JD. And they started a band, and we had a band, and then I started this band with my brother's friends. It was my brother's friends, one of their boyfriends, and this bassist, and we just started playing live recently. We started playing at Danford's. We do a gig in the summer as of right now, or we did a gig in the summer. The summer is now in the past tense. We did one the beginning of the month, June, July, and August, and we have another one coming up in October. So,
Now, is this the
yeah.
band with Panzerino?
This isn't with Joe Panzerino.
Okay. Okay.
That's the one with Joe Panzerino and JD Verbeck. That's the other thing we have. The guitar player JD. I don't know if you know JD Verbeck.
No,
He has
no.
a thing. Yeah, he's one of Joe's friends. He has a thing called the Weird Uncle, which is basically we go in his basement and we just like play music for like his friends and everything. It's very cool. We got a bunch of like lights set up and projectors and fun things, and you can find that on YouTube if you want to see it. It's actually very cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I saw like a little bit of like the stuff that you guys did, like before I knew that you were the drummer in the group of Joe doing stuff like maybe right and all that.
Hmm.
Yes. So like as a musician, do you do like a lot of like do you write your own songs or?
I mean, I've occasionally dabbled in it a little bit, just kind of my personal life, and I've just kind of made music. But it's hard to make. I find that like a lot of my music focuses more on like rhythmical and like timbre elements to it. Like I find that I get a lot into like, like noise music, and I've been kind of a little bit into noise music recently. Like I feel like that's kind of more my mindset is like different tones and like timbres and stuff, where I kind of skip over that whole music theory thing,
Yeah.
where a lot of other musicians kind of have that advantage where they can learn different music theories and stuff. But I'd love to write my own songs someday, or like maybe like at least make like beats or something like that. I've always had like an interest in like production and beat making and sound design and stuff like that.
Now, what's like the most fun gigs that you have and that you do with your bands?
Oh, easy, Danfords easily. It's a 5 hour gig that we get, which is very long. But what's great is that it just kind of slowly gets wilder as you go on, because we start about like 6, and the people you kind of weed out who's going to be there and who's not. We start with like acoustic music, acoustic-ish, like light rock, and then we eventually make our way to like Led Zeppelin or so. And by the time you get to Led Zeppelin at like 10 o'clock at night, all the drunk old people are just like, yeah, and they're just you get some
Yeah.
pretty wild stuff happening. I mean,
Do you have people?
you get some like you'll get just like people going crazy. There was this one time there was this drunk guy, and he was just like, "It's my birthday." And he just started dancing with a stool, like spinning around in
God.
front of the stage. And we're in this like kind of like this what is it called? The tent. Not really like a tent, like a wooden one
Right.
of those wooden tent things. I forget. I can't think of the name right now.
Right.
But he's just like spinning around with this stool, like going crazy, just like yelling at us from inside. He's like, hey, you drummer, yeah, hey, yeah. And I'm like, what is happening right now? It's such a
Life,
wild like
the life
energy,
of a musician.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. But like, do you guys? Because I always feel like when when somebody's drunk, they're always going to be like stuff like play Stairway or like Free Bird, Free Bird.
Yeah, no, exactly. We
Yeah. Oh, okay, Brendan, your
getting
audio.
songs like,
Okay,
oh,
good.
what's up?
No, your audio was like kind of crapping out a little. Okay,
Oh, okay.
I think you're good now.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah. It's just we're not like usually when we have songs that we perform, like me and my band, like we just specifically we kind of practice those songs a lot. So usually when people suggest songs that we don't know, we just kind of go, "Oh, how about?" And we just name a song from our set list because we just don't know what to do, you know. So we just kind of do that a lot of times. So like and my guitarist is like an advertising major, so he's really good at just like maneuvering around that situation, and he's just got like that cheery like attitude where he can just be like, no, how about a whole lot of love, and they're like, okay, and you just kind of move on, you know.
Now, like, now let me ask you something. Like during the pandemic and all that, how did that change for your musical kind of persona, or just like the musical experience that you've been doing in the past?
It basically stopped because it was at the time I was just kind of playing with Joe and JD and like the whole weird uncle thing. So that basically came to a halt, you know. But the band I've been playing with live, we kind of started practicing the summer of COVID. So like it was about the time where people started relaxing like a little bit and like things were closed, but like we didn't personally mind just being around each other. You know, if we had COVID, we'd say it or whatever. So we kind of just like practiced for about a year until we got a gig because nobody was really opening up for like gigs when we were practicing. And by the time they started opening up, they were already booking 50 other known names before us. So it took about a year for us to actually like get gigs. And it took like months and months and months and months and months of the guitar player, Chris, to like actually get, a gig or a place that would actually like want to have us play. So that's kind of how it affected us, you know.
Right, right, of course. Yeah, but now since so how has it been, since like, I mean, of course I know we're not like fully over with the pandemic, but how has it been these past few months, with more things opening up and stuff like that, gig wise and just performing with the band?
Much better. It's very easy, at least like with the gigs that I've gotten. It's really easy to just forget that we're in a pandemic because all the gigs I've done so far are outdoors. So, already, people don't really care too much about the mask. Plus, you're at a bar and you're eating, so nobody's wearing a mask. So, like,
Of
it's
course.
kind of like nothing happened, like we're just kind of all playing. The first gig I did at Danforth's, they had these glass things around the tent, which was annoying. But for the rest of the gigs, they took them off. So that was kind of interesting.
Now, just out of curiosity, because me and Anthony, we went to this Velvet Lounge and all that stuff. Have you been there since the Talkit? That's where like a lot of like some musicians play. This guy is a promoter, Maxwell Peters, and all that stuff, and he has these like shows and stuff like that, like and like where he, like it can be an open mic night or something like that. And he has all these musical guests on and all that stuff. So like I was wondering, like, have you ever been involved in that, or have you ever checked that out, or?
I never did that, but there was this time I was with my drum teacher, Frank Bellucci, who I took a lot of lessons with back when I was in high school, and he plays all over. If you ever see him, give him a shout out. He's great.
Okay,
Um,
cool, cool.
he was playing at Fox Hollow, and it was one of those like cool things where you kind of go up and like people are just playing and they're like, hey, you want to play, hey, you want to play, oh, here's, go ahead, you want to sing, and people just like going around and going around, and I just kind of got in the middle of that, and that was really fun, and that was like my first time being around something like that, and it's super cool because everyone's just playing like jazz, like quartet style stuff, and everyone's just like, oh, we're playing, oh, messed up, haha, wait, what are we doing? Oh, we're trading fours, okay, and it's very fast paced, and you just circle around and have a bunch of fun. But that was the closest thing I think I've ever done to that.
Wow, wow, interesting. And now let me ask you, like, what's like your influences and all that,
Um, my top favorite drummer of all time is Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Band.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, I grew up with Dave Matthews Band, and I don't like the Beatles, so figure that out.
Oh,
Um,
Each Beatles statement. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a
big.
little heartbreaking for
I
me.
know, I know, I know. Big bold statements coming. I know.
Yeah, that's
Um, yeah, that's whatever, But you can judge me because I like Dave
no, it's
Matthews
okay.
Band, so it's
If this
fine,
channel was big, people would probably rip on you, but
No,
hey,
exactly,
sure.
exactly.
That's your
Um,
opinion, man. Yeah.
I just thought Carter was like the most interesting drummer ever, and to this day, I still think he's the coolest. He's, not only is he just like a great overall drummer, but he was very innovative. He was very unique. He had a lot of stylistic, like nuances to him that made him super unique. I mean, you just look at like some of these songs from Dave Matthews Band. And he's like playing two beats at the same time because he's got the ride cymbal here and the hi hat there, and he's just going back and forth between the toms and everything, and like nobody plays like him. Like even other open-handed drummers don't play like him. You know, other
Right.
ones came along like definitely I think Steve Smith and Thomas Lang. I got really into like really technical drummers at some point. I feel like every musician like at some point like the more and more they get into the genre, the more and more they get into like their technical, like kind of circus act ish type of musicians. Like in the drumming world, you have like Thomas Lang, Virgil Donati that are just like really crazy, just like insane coordination stuff. I always found that stuff really entertaining. Steve Smith, just to go back to, he was the drummer of Journey,
Well,
and you wouldn't have like really cared about him that much for his drum work in Journey, but outside of Journey, he really like did a lot of cool things, and he's still doing stuff. He did a lot of drumming instructional DVDs. His technique is amazing. His like the way he like maneuvers on the kit is fantastic. Um, like, and he's nowadays he's like I think about 60 or so, and he's still kicking. And I feel like that's like the real goal with like being, in a place where you're playing a really physical instrument. Like I can only do this for so long if I'm only using like my bicep and like, my tendons and stuff. So like, figure out technique that like allows you to play your instrument for as long as you can, I think is like super cool.
right.
People like him, Dave Weckl, Vinny Colaiuta, that whole kind of circle was a lot of like where a lot of my influences came from. Yeah, those are the main ones.
Interesting. And like, was it easy, like, when you were, starting out, wanting to form and just be in bands, like, to meet other musicians and kind of play with their interests?
Um, it it never came that hard because most of the musicians I met were usually in like like bands, and so like like band class or like really that I just kind of came. It just kind of happened. Like I never really was actively looking for it. It's just kind of like everybody knew I played drums, and then it would just kind of happen. Like, oh, you need a drummer? My brother plays drums. Oh, my friend Brandon plays drums, and then I play drums with them, and then I become their drummer, and then that just kind of happens. So I never really found it too hard, I guess, because I wasn't really always actively like on the look for it. But if I
Yeah.
was, it probably would have stressed me out a lot more.
Right. Now, what like would you say like as a musician like now during like COVID or like during after the first really big phase of it of realizing being now a year and a half into it, like what do you think is that like what do you think is the definition of like music nowadays or the music industry after COVID, like what do you think that has said for that, like for the pandemic?
Hmm. Um, I think a lot of people just want to forget that COVID is happening. I noticed just like musical trends along, uh, just kind of what's happening. People have just been kind of really wanting to forget that COVID's happening and
Right.
just having these like really kind of like poppy, happy kind of tunes. That or they're just kind of laying back and kind of getting used to it. I noticed one thing that's happened is kind of like the um, rise of like Spotify and specifically playlists that
Okay.
happens because I think people are just sitting around a lot and they just want something, just some kind of background noise. And I think that's kind of taken off as a result of COVID.
Now, just out of curiosity, like, have you recorded stuff from like Zoom during the pandemic, or like did that in that way, like performed with your band virtually?
No, I did one time with a friend, and it's really hard because there's that lag.
Right,
So you can't
exactly.
You can't
That's what I
really.
hear. Like everybody has to do it like separately, and like when you do
Yeah,
that stuff, you can't do it live per se. You have to.
right. It's really hard to do it live.
Yeah,
Um, I try to do it live. Me and my friends, like me, Joe, and JD, just tried to do it live one time just for fun. We just hopped into a Discord chat. And the other thing is just like, computers are complicated. So, you don't just plug in your guitar directly into your computer. You got to get a converter, and then this converts to that, and that converts to this. Then you put this in. And somewhere along the line, one of these things is going to fail one day, and it's probably going to be the day that you need it the most. So, you know, it'll just be happening. We're playing, and oh, my guitar is way too loud. I'm trying to make it quieter, or oh, my microphone isn't working, and it's just like navigating around that I think makes virtual stuff pretty difficult, at least in the live setting.
now, you also like earlier just mentioned like Spotify. So like, have you recorded music through and like distributed on streaming services and all that stuff? Or
I did a song with the band I have with Joe and JD called "The Chairs Please."
okay,
That's the name of the band. If you type in "Chairs Please," it's called Alt All slash After All, and I'm
okay.
actually lurking in the background, about 50 pounds heavier. You can see in the cover photo. There are 2 monthly listeners. I think I'm one of them. Uh,
Well, is it on Amazon? I'll definitely check it out.
it might be. I'm pretty sure it's on everything.
What's it
Um,
called?
the chairs, comma, please.
The chairs, comma, please.
Yeah. Uh, alt, all, after all. Let's see. Is it? I mean, nothing's coming up on Google, but it is on most streaming services because he did
Um,
it.
did you have did you have at all after all?
Yeah,
Okay, it came up.
yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, no. So what's the future for you guys, like recording and live performance wise?
Um, for the band with Joe and JD, or just in general?
Yeah.
Right now, we just played at what do you call one of their friends' backyard.
Okay.
And he has like a really huge backyard. It's like got like a whole basketball court and stuff. It was pretty sick. We just kind of set up there, had a bunch of cameras around, um, and that was really fun. Um, we could definitely do like real gigs if we wanted to, I think. But right now, this is just kind of like this fun thing that we have with a bunch of friends. You can look it up on YouTube. We have the Weird Uncle Summer, and I don't know if we could drop this maybe in
Oh
the
yeah,
chat.
yeah, definitely. Send me the
Yeah,
links of everything, so I'll put that in. I do
yeah,
that for every one of my guests that I have.
yeah. Let me just copy and paste it.
Yeah. Send it on Instagram. Send it. Yeah, DM it to me.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that later.
Okay,
But
cool.
that was the latest thing that we have going on. And then the thing is, JD lives in Boston now, so it's kind
Right,
of hard to
right.
discuss during like the year and everything. But he comes back during like holidays, and like he's definitely mentioned the idea of like us coming up to Boston. Which now that I'm in purchase and I have my own car and everything, I definitely consider doing. I can
That's
just kind
good.
of drive on up there and not have to explain to my parents why I'm going all the way to Boston. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. And yeah, no. So what are your future projects with your other groups and all that stuff?
Right now, we don't quite know. It's really just like getting gigs and getting out there. We've only been playing about for the past summer. We try to, the most stable gig we have is the Danfords one, and we're always trying to find other gigs that were just open. And like the guitar player would be like, "Hey, I found a gig," and then 2 weeks later, it's like, "Oh, I don't think we can do that." It just kind of fell through. So there's so many times where it just falls through and goes down. I don't quite know, but right now, I really like the whole where it is right now. Just kind of this fun, like get out there, just start playing, meet some people, start playing for them, and just see what happens.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Now, besides drumming, like, do you play any other instruments or sing by any chance?
No, not really. I tried when I was younger. I tried playing saxophone for a little bit.
Okay.
I've tried playing piano. I should learn how to play piano. I feel like that if there's one instrument, like melodically, that you should learn to play, it's probably piano. Like, 'cause you can just learn a bunch of stuff through it. But I was young, and when I was young, I didn't have much of a work ethic. I was kind of lazy, so I never really picked on up with it. So I just kind of stuck with drums because it was the thing I kind of just knew how to do. You know what I mean?
And what? Yeah. And like, what's your drumming style? So it's like, so you did have like proper lessons and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. I've
And
been.
like, and so like, did you also though like kind of like, like kind of like get influenced and like kind of, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like not copy, but like, just like get inspired and like, take inspiration from the drummers that you just mentioned, like that are your influences.
Oh, you mean like through my drum teachers and all that?
Yeah, well, no, like from like drummer from Dave Matthews Band and drummer for Journey and all that. Like, did you like listen? Like, would you like listen to their music and their drumming and then be like, okay, like let me see how can I mimic that or how can I get to that?
Oh, definitely. I think everybody goes through that a little bit. Like with Carter Belford, like there's definitely something like, by the very least, you can't not be inspired by like his hi hat work. Like all his like double strokes and all that stuff. You can't not notice that. And just kind of playing around. I always try to think like outside the box when I'm playing drums. I try to just like hover above it a little bit and not really think too much about like, okay, 1, 2, 3, just kind of think, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I play doubles here? Oh, that didn't work. What if I do this? That worked better. What if I do this? What's the guitar player doing? Okay, how about I do this? Does this emphasize the guitar? Like try and just like think around and think kind of outside of what you would normally do or what you would conventionally play.
Right.
In these scenarios.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like we got Anthony back on, so let's see if
Okay.
Anthony can ask you questions. Hey, Anthony. So you on?
Hello, Anthony.
Oh, your audio's a little off, man. Are you good now, or?
He's thinking about it.
Yeah.
I was on.
Oh.
Sound better?
Yeah. I can.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So, Anthony, do you want to ask our guest anything?
Well, what if you already asked him?
I've already asked it because Brandon, of course, is drummer and all that, and and all that. We've already asked him about like his influences and all that, and perform like and sort of performing. But ask him anything you want.
All right. So, do you have any projects coming out soon?
No projects coming out, but I will be playing in Danford's if you're in the Long Island area. I will be playing at Danford's October 1st, so that will be our next gig coming up at Danford's 6 to 11.
Is it going to be Halloween themed?
It should be. We could talk to that about that. I know we were thinking about songs we could do. We got to play at least a couple Halloween themed songs. I think we have to play, Thriller by Michael Jackson. We got to at least play that one.
Oh, cool. What about like some like theme songs from like horror movies and stuff like that? You gonna play anything like that?
We should. No, we should definitely run them by, because I'm sure they'd love to do that, because they like to kind of get into that and everything. We were talking about that. I think they'd love to do that.
Yeah, I definitely think you should. That would be great to see.
Maybe get like Cobwebs or something. One time I saw Bo Burnham at the What performance back in like 2014 or 15 or so. And he had it was at the Patchogue Theater and it was during October and there was spider webs everywhere. Like with the fake stuff. That was pretty cool.
Are you guys going to be in costume?
We should. We haven't discussed. Maybe we should invite you. We should invite you to these, guest meetings. We talk about, what we could do. We never really dress in costume. It's usually just kind of our casual clothing. Because it's like a bar, so you're not gonna get a suit and tie. You just kind of get a t-shirt and whatever you start playing. But we should probably get some makeup or something or get a mask. Do a little we should do a Slipknot cover band. That's what we should do.
You definitely should. You definitely should think about it. I mean, at least for the month of October.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I gotta tell.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to see. You could even cosplay as the costumes that you're wearing, and add that to your performance if you like.
Yeah, maybe they can wear the costume and they can sing as the character. Maybe our main singer dressed as Batman Sounds like this.
Yo, that'd be amazing to see.
Yeah. Well, no, no. It's funny. Anthony's only been on for really basically 3 minutes, and it looks like he's got a job opportunity.
Exactly. You're our manager now. You're our costume manager.
Yeah.
You can arrange our outfits.
Well, Anthony's got the best Pokemon hats, so yeah, I think he's good fashion-wise. Yeah.
Pokemon hats.
Yeah.
A collection of specifically Pokemon hats. Wow. Okay, you got the Pikachu beanie. You got the Pikachu drip. Nice.
Yeah.
It's his trademark. That's his. Yeah.
Yeah, you can ask anybody at Suffolk. They know about this.
Yeah, when you see a guy in a Pikachu hat, that's only one guy. If somebody else does that, then they are copying.
Then they're an imposter, and we have to kill them.
Yes. Anthony McDaniel owns that look. Nobody else try that, okay?
You just sit in the corner and wait for someone to walk in with the Pikachu hat. And you just bolt up to them.
It's like my thing, and then you punch him like, no, my thing.
That's my hat. That's my hat. You take their hat and then you just run away and you collect it.
I've been rocking this look since at least 2017, if not earlier. So
you actually made the first hat. You actually sewed the ears onto the beanie.
It's like I own this look. I've been wearing this hat for 5 years. What's your excuse?
Exactly.
That's my look.
Yeah. You can't be stealing it,
Yeah.
You can't be copping that Pikachu drip,
That's not
the Poke drip,
That's another thing too. You gotta trade. Like if you have a look, you gotta trademark that.
Yeah.
No, definitely. A lot of people know me for the beard and the mustache.
That's good.
Trademark it.
Exactly.
Trademark it. Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Trademark thing.
Anytime anyone grows a beard now, I have to shave it off.
It's a very unique look. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I gotta just bring around like a straight edge.
Yeah.
Oh no! I got these scars.
Yeah.
One time I had a beard.
It's like that's how you'll be known, the drummer with the beard. It's like, I don't know if you've seen that movie, like That Thing You Do, but like they made a joke because it takes place in the 60s. It was the only film that Tom Hanks ever directed.
Okay.
And it's basically about this one-hit wonder group in the 60s. And like the one character in the band doesn't have a name. They just call him the bass player. And I think that's actually the reason why they do that, I think, is to show that like there are there's always like that one band member you forget, It's like those
exactly.
When there's like 4 people, there's always like the one people. Like they always make a joke. Like I know you're not a big Beatles fan, but it's like
that's all right. I played a bunch of Beatles songs because I'm friends with Joe and JD. So like.
Oh yeah, Joe's a huge Beatles fan.
Yeah. And Pink Floyd. They made me.
That was something Joe and I had like in common. Like when we first met at Suffolk, was like and honestly, it's like we didn't know each other that much, but he knew I was a Beatles fan. So it's like I remember like one time he came up to me. He goes like, "Hey Radigan, I just saw like the Fab Four show. You got to see it. It's awesome." And he was just like telling me all about it and all that.
He found that out about me afterwards. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have been friends. No.
I can imagine what. I mean, Panzerino is quite a character, so I could imagine what he said when he found out about that.
Yeah, I mean, we both kind of share the agreement that like Ringo's really overrated. Like,
Ringo. Well, see, it's funny you say that because I was about to say that Ringo's like kind of like the one that always people forget. I think in some ways.
No, he's not the one that people forget. Name another drummer other than Ringo.
Well, I think it's like the reason why I say that is because Ringo does not get the credit like as in all the other 3 guys, John, Paul, George. Ringo's always kind of like the butt of the jokes, that Ringo was like not like, listen, of course Ringo was not maybe the most creative one, but also he did like have a good position and he did like make his part. Like it took 4 people to make the Beatles, not just one person,
I mean, he's not a bad drummer, but like, I mean, the least rated member of the top most famous band in the world is still way more famous than like a million other drummers. Like Ringo Starr is like one of the main drummers people mention. Like if you had to ask people to name a drummer, it's either like Ringo Starr, maybe Buddy Rich, Joey Jordison. That's like ones that'll kind of come up. Dave Grohl.
Oh yeah,
but definitely just like I think it comes from the fact that like because I'm a drummer and like growing up, everyone's like, "Oh, you're just like Ringo," and then you look up Ringo, and there's like, "Oh, okay," And you just keep hearing that over and over again. You Ringo, and you just
Yeah.
develop this mentality. And you're like, fuck Ringo Starr.
Wait, but what about Stuart Copeland?
Oh, Stuart Copeland's great. Oh,
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah,
oh,
like
fantastic.
Or what's that guy's name? The one from Rush. Like those guys are pretty known.
Neil Peart.
Neil Peart.
Neil Peart's
Neil Peart.
definitely like a very iconic drummer. He's extremely important, just like in like the making of kind of like what the drum kit became. You know, like he was the one that decided like I'm gonna put 50 million drums on a drum kit. Like no one else did that. You know, and there's something to be very respected about that. You know.
Yeah. Plus, you know, the Cheeto dude, he co-signed him, so.
Oh yeah.
I said the Cheeto dude also co-signed him too, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, dude, no, there's a joke. I think it's the Family Guy, right? Where the Cheeto goes, "There's nobody like us and Neil Peart."
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about that.
Yeah. Well, no. But like also to another drummer like that, I was curious of like what your opinion on is. Like, what about Ginger Baker from Cream?
Never really paid that much attention to him. I can't really name a Cream song personally. So.
Well, yeah, no, because of course, always because Eric Clapton is like one of the best guitarists. But like the thing that's funny about how Cream, how they first started, because all three of those guys like shine, like Jack Bruce on bass. But like the thing with like Ginger Baker was like definitely listen to some Cream songs, and the way he drums and all that stuff, it's like it's very different too. I think it's like because they always talk about how if you're either left-handed or right-handed, it always plays a different. Like it makes an impact in your sound. And like the way he would do stuff, it was just like you could see it like how he would just play his drums like bum 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 bum, like go back and forth, and the way he would do this like side stuff, like the way he would like play with his arms and do all that stuff. Like no, I mean he was definitely listening to some songs and definitely like fantastic, like Sunshine of Your Love. But stuff like even like I'm trying to think like his stuff on Crossroads. I mean, and also even Badge, and all that. Yeah.
Wait, what about the drummer of Def Leppard?
Oh, I never listened to Def Leppard.
I actually don't know the drummer's name from Def Leppard, honestly. I don't really listen. I'm not a huge fan of Def Leppard. I know the drummer's name. I think I sort of know the drummer's name just like because somebody told me his name from Metallica. I think like Buzz Harmon. I think something like that his name is. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not a big fan of them either. But I know like these days, well, he only has like one arm, but he's still like drumming like crazy. So that's why I asked.
The drummer from Metallica only has one arm.
Oh no, not Metallica. Metallica is.
No, I'm talking about Def Leppard.
Oh, Def Leppard. Oh no, now I remember that. My dad was telling me about that. Yeah, he got his like arm. It was his arm, right?
Yeah, it was his arm.
I think it was an accident. Like
it was some. Yeah.
And he just like plays with one arm.
Oh yeah. I think I heard of that. I think that was during like the Pour Some Sugar on Me. I think that was in the 80s. I think when that happened.
Yes.
No, because I've seen that on JT Curtis History Rock.
Yeah, that's insane.
He was in a car accident, right?
I actually learned about that from VH1 when they did their 100 Greatest Music Artists of All Time list back in like 2010.
Yeah. Okay. No, because now it's ringing a bell to me. That, but like, what about John Bonham from Led Zeppelin?
John Bonham, crucial. One of the most crucial. Like, if there's any old like rock drummer to pay attention to, it's John Bonham. Like John Bonham is like one of the reasons I hate Ringo. Like John Bonham is great. Like there's so many things to be learned about John Bonham that it took me a long time to appreciate. Just like basic concepts like musicianship. Like what does that mean? It means you have to pay attention to what's happening around you. Like it's very easy, like I think as a drummer, to be caught in the mindset of like, oh, I'm a drummer, I am the tempo, like I am the rhythm, and you kind of think of you as, because drums is a very rhythmic instrument, there's not much melody to it. There is if you really want it to be, but like it's mostly rhythmic. So you kind of develop this mentality that you create all the rhythm. But the cool thing about John Bonham's playing is everything he does is meant to empower the guitar playing and meant to empower like the melody. And then Robert Plant has this place where he kind of sings above it and like kind of interacts and like with the rest of the music. So like it's super cool because I think while John Bonham has some stuff that like is really complicated to play, a lot of his stuff, like at the core of like what he is as a musician, is that it's musicianship. Like Whole Lotta Love, that beat isn't complicated, but you hear the guitar. It's
yeah, of course, yeah.
That's what makes that song hit so hard when you play it. And like that's what makes it so cool and so awesome. I mean, Immigrant Song.
Oh yeah.
Like that's what makes his playing so important. It's always like John Bonham's playing wasn't powerful to make John Bonham powerful. John Bonham's playing made Led Zeppelin powerful. It made the whole band powerful. And that's what I think is like so cool about that. And that's something that's still to be learned like today, you know?
Yeah. Now, what's your opinion on like, let's say like Charlie Watts, who we recently just lost from the Rolling Stones?
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
I never really listened to the Rolling Stones that much, so I didn't know too
right.
much about that. I think I heard a little bit of that maybe on an Instagram
post,
but I didn't listen to.
Sort of I mean, the guy was 80, but it was sort of a shock to the world.
Right, but how about Joey Jordison passed away like a month ago?
I don't know who that is. Who's
Slipknot?
Okay, I don't know that group actually.
You don't know Slipknot?
I know. Forgive me. I'm sorry.
What?
What decade? What decade are they from?
Like early, not like late 90s to 2000.
Oh, that's probably why I don't listen to
band. It's like 7 people. They all wear masks.
Oh, okay.
So, to make like new metal.
Is it like similar to like Daft Punk, like the way they have?
No, they're a new metal band.
Okay.
Yeah, like something like Korn or something like that. Like Linkin Park, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I've been trying to listen to more like 90s and stuff like that, or like 2000s. Like, you know, I've been trying to listen to a little bit of the Black Keys and all that, you know. And Gorillaz too. Well, Gorillaz I actually like.
They're not like that. They're like a metal band, like a kind of like thrash metal-ish, like new metal kind of thing. Like there's a little bit of hip hop, but there's definitely like an aggression to it.
Right. Now, are you a U2 fan by any chance?
No, never listened to U2 that much.
Okay, no, because I was gonna ask what you think of Larry Mullen as a drummer, or like what about Pink Floyd, like Nick Mason?
Yeah.
Not really.
I had to play Pink Floyd in Joe's band with JD and all that. It's so sad. Like it's just such sad drum music to play. Like I mean the guys like got great timing and tempo and all that, but like it just feels so uninspired when you play it. You know what I mean?
Well, like, Pink Floyd. Yeah, I feel like Pink
it's also not my type of music.
To listen to them, you know, because their stuff is really like you gotta really like pay attention to their stuff, or really like be like if you gotta be really like kind of like music connoisseur in order to really enjoy their stuff, you know, in some ways.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big music connoisseur. I don't enjoy it. I like music that's like more in your face a little bit. Like I've always been into like stuff like I love like Death Grips and like Flying Lotus and like music that's like really in your face and stuff like that. Stuff where you just kind of sit back and just kind of like die. You know, like that was never really my thing.
Like with me, I like songs that you can hear melody and hear like lyrics. Like not to get me wrong, like I do like jam stuff, like jam bands, but I'm like like to a certain degree, you know. Like I mean, like for instance, like like I love the Grateful Dead, but there's some Grateful Dead albums that I probably can't listen to because it's like so much jam or just like experimental stuff. Like their second album, In the Sun, is definitely not a commercial type of album. It was very more of an experimental kind of album in a sense that was just like that I haven't really like fully listened to all the way through. I mean, I've listened to a few songs on it.
I think there are a lot of there's a lot of albums where I feel like you kind of meet a nice crossroad in between like being kind of quiet and being in your like there's a lot of great jazz albums like Miles Davis' Bitches Brew, for example.
Okay.
Like that's a great product. I mean, it's a whole different genre, but I think it's a great example of like music that like it can be in the background, but when you listen, it's very rewarding because there's just such a unique vibe to it.
Well, what another group that's like similar to the Grateful Dead that was around this time, even though they were definitely different in sound and stuff like that, but they came out around the same time and they were both from California. Creedence Clearwater Revival, like their songs are like right at you, like they're like they have like, melodies, and most of their stuff is 2 minutes, so it's easy to come at you. And the thing that I think what's cool about Creedence Clearwater was that their stuff was, like, besides like, like the Beatles and all that stuff, their stuff was really more of like, not about love. It was just about what was going on in the world, or like these fictional stuff. For instance, like there was like some apocalyptic songs, like for instance, like Bad Moon Rising, or stuff that was about being more like Fortunate Son. Like these are 2 minute stuff. And even like one of my favorite ones from them is Traveling Band, which is just about like 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 a group, like on the road, about a rock band touring. And I think like what my dad's favorite lyric from the song, and like he says it's like one of his favorite lyrics ever, which is a good one, where it's saying, listen to the radio talking about the last show, someone got excited, they had to call the state militia. Yeah, no. Which, like, the thing about John Fogerty too, if you ever listen to Creedence or John Fogerty, I mean, John Fogerty has got like a howling voice, like honestly, his voice is insane, like in the ranges he can go to, like, just going soft. But there's a lot of times where his voice is just like, like so howling, as stuff like Traveling Band, Born on the Bayou. No, like if you ever get a chance to listen to Creedence Clearwater, definitely check them out.
Yeah, definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need too many lyrics, to really make an impact. There's a lot of songs like, this is a different genre too. James Blake. I love James Blake. I don't know if you ever listened to James Blake. He's like kind of like electronic, like R&B, like alternative R&B kind of stuff. But his first album, his debut album, or full-length album, his self-titled one. There's a lot of like just like small lyrical loops where the lyrics are just like, my brothers and my sisters. What was it? Sisters don't. It's like, my brothers and my sisters don't play with me, but I don't blame them. And that's just like the loop, and he just like sings that, and he'll build it with like melody and stuff, and he'll like harmonize.
Wow.
And he slowly brings like chords and stuff, and it's like these very simple aspects that just kind of sound huge because they just build and build and build and build. And there's just like a lot of intensity and like where they're placed and everything.
And is it like a repetitive lyric and all that? Like,
yeah, basically, like also the Wilhelm scream.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I know about that. Yeah, the Wilhelm scream.
Or no, like that's the name of the song. He has a song.
Oh, it's the name of the song. Well, right, because I know that was a famous scream that's been used in movies since.
Yeah, the lyrics of that song is just like, I don't know about my dreams. I don't know about my dreams anymore. All I know is that I'm falling, falling, falling. Might as well fall in. And he just says that over and over again.
Wow.
And like it just keeps building and building. Like it starts really minimal, and then all of a sudden just gets really atmospheric and like super reverby.
Well, that's like honestly like the Beatles song. I feel like, on the White Album, Why Don't We Do It in the Road? Which as a kid, like my parents couldn't tell me what it was. I'm like, oh, like because I remember my parents talking about like, oh, like why is this like a song? And I'm like, oh, what do you mean like why do it in the road? And I'm like, oh, we can't. And they're like, oh, we can't tell you because it's a dirty song. Because it's like, why don't we, do it in the road?
They didn't even lie to you. They just said,
it's like right there, and like
they're just straight up with you.
Yeah, and it just keeps, and it's just the same lyric over and over again. And people feel like it's like, some people say it's like the worst one, or it's just like, I actually like it, even though that's like the only lyric really, because it's like, but it keeps building and other stuff like, and it's like the sick bass, and Ringo's drums doing that, like well, and then like Paul just goes like, with his book like, why don't we go do it in the road? And like he just keeps playing with it, and then of course like that's really the only lyric, and then the other lyric is like, no one will be watching us, why don't we do it in the road? And then that's basically it. I mean, I think it's a great song, even though it's like a silly song of theirs. It's not.
As long as it like builds into something and like progresses.
Yeah, exactly. But like when some people say it's like, like the worst Beatles song, I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You just want to look normal,
What?
Yeah. You just want to look normal, and you're just like, nah, I hate that song, and you secretly listen to it.
Yeah. No. Like honestly, it's like there are some, I can say, it's hard to say this, but there are like a few Beatles songs that are bad. Like not like like so bad. Like by default, the one
I
that
call
I
it
would
all
say,
of them. No.
usually a lot of them, usually the ones that are considered the worst are actually on the White Album, because the White Album was a double album, and some of the songs that were like small songs that just weren't as good. Like, of course, the one like Wild Honey Pie, but not just, but also too, like a lot of people don't like Revolution 9. You know, that's one number nine. You know. Like that one always was a little silly and all that, you know. And there's jokes. I think that was a joke in Family Guy with the Beatles where like number eight. yeah.
Yeah, I know there's just one Beatles song that Joe showed me that like went into like 3 different things. I think it was Wild Honey Pie, maybe, or
Oh
something.
yeah. Where all this, but oh yeah, that's an annoying song.
Or it might be Ooladi. Is this it? No, this isn't it. I'm like listening to, trying to find it. But it was one where it went between like 3 different things, and by the end of it, it was just like a guitar, and I think like one of them was just going, just like,
oh yeah. I think I
forget which one it is, but I remember that being like the most interesting Beatles song I ever heard.
I think that's Martha, My Dear, where it's like Martha, my dear, how I send my inspiration, and then it's like take a good look around you, and then it ends with that.
Martha, my dear, let me see.
No, I think it's that, because it ends with that like kind of.
No, this wasn't it. It sounded way more chaotic.
All right, yeah.
So it might have been like the Honey Pie or whatever, but whatever it was the most interesting Beatles song I ever heard. See, I like wild, crazy, experimental stuff. You know, like I love shit like, you know, like I get into like noise music every now and then. Like I love John Weiss and like Merzbow and shit like that. So I'll get down with stuff that's just all over the place. But yeah, so as long as it's interesting, as long as it's going somewhere, you know, I'm all for it. You know?
Now, what are things that you hope to break out for in, you know, your music and all this stuff, like hope to achieve or, you know, transition to?
I'm always hoping, like, what do you mean, just like as like my position as like a drummer and all that, or?
Well, yeah, just in the future as a musician and all that stuff, you know.
I'm always watching myself, just seeing like, you know, how like not like just stable I am like as a musician. I like to just see like, you know, it's easy, it's hard to kind of judge yourself and like how you're playing in the moment, because you always think you're like great in the moment, you know,
right?
But until you like watch a video of yourself and you're like, oh, that sounds kind of shit. I'm always trying to look for like, you know, timing and tempo, just like how I'm doing on that. If I sped up here, if I slow down here, am I paying attention to what's happening there? You know, that's kind of stuff I try to do. Also, just to make every note kind of stand out. You know, I think it's kind of very stereotypical that like the drummer is very loud and like, oh, you got to keep the drummer loud. But like at the same time, when drums play quiet, it just kind of sounds weird. So just like being mindful of like, you know, how the drums sound in context. You know, is it like moving the music forward? Is it holding it back? You know, is it kind of doing the job in the correct way it's supposed to? You know?
Yeah. Well, I always see too that as like a stereotype of a drummer is that like a drummer usually doesn't sing with the band. You know, usually a drummer usually is the one that's not the singer usually. Which it's funny how that like was a stereotype. As a kid, I thought, oh yeah, drummers don't sing with the bands usually, or like sing like backing vocals usually. Sometimes, like that's what I just thought. Like I thought, I didn't. In some ways, I thought that was not a rule, but just that like it was impossible as a drummer to sing as well for some reason. But there are like, if you look at it, there are drummers that do sing along with a group. And
It's actually very good to like, you know, be mindful of that kind of stuff when you're playing drums. I remember one of my first drum lessons with Frank Bellucci. He was just like, he had stick control, which is just, if you don't know, it's a really old, like really traditional, just basic drumming book, you know, just filled with like normal patterns. And he's like, all right, play a bossa nova with your feet, play this ride cymbal pattern, and all right, so here's this sheet of music over here, and you're gonna sing it. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you're gonna sing it. I'm like, la 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 la, and it's hard. Like you don't realize like how hard it is. But like it makes you better, because the point is, you know, you're trying to like stretch yourself past what you'd normally do in order to like be ready for those instances. Because you know there are
it's probably like it's probably even like singing with the guitar too. I mean, it probably, if you think about it, it really is, I guess, no different, right?
I mean, it's a little different, I guess, because like, you know, you're playing with all your limbs. So like that just makes it very difficult to be doing something with all your limbs. And now I'm like, especially when you're just not used to it, like you're just
And also
not like used to singing.
yeah. And I guess like sometimes like when you're performing too, like you're just sometimes hearing like your beats, so it might be easier for like a singer playing on a piano or guitar to like sing along because it's a little more melodic or something like that, or like more of like with a melody of that like catchy. With a drum, it's just a bump, 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 bump. So you don't always. And if you sing, you don't want to always mess up, and you want to make sure you're on time to hear your part for when you got to change or when you got to go to another part or something like that.
Right. There's this one drummer I know from the band Under of. He sings and he plays drums, and occasionally you do find one to do that.
No, no. It's
pretty interesting.
No, I just want yeah. No, but Anthony, is there anything else you want to ask our guest while we have him?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Tom already asked this, but like, what artists are you listening to right now? Or like, what are your favorites?
Right now, I just listened to Donda because I'm your classic white boy who listens to hip hop. Liking Donda so far. Definitely liked it better than Drake's new album. Drake's new album came out today. About 5 songs and then gave up.
Yeah.
I can't take Drake anymore. It was like my first artist that I listened to like in hip hop, and I very quickly kind of moved away from that. Let me see, what have I listened to lately? I started getting more into like stuff like Tyler the Creator and like Earl Sweatshirt and that whole kind of underground hip hop thing.
Yeah.
I slowly started getting into more modern like hip hop. So like I listened to like Travis Scott like later on in high school. I was like, oh, modern trap hip hop is kind of cool. And then so I listened to that. Vince Staples' new project is great. Is the one with Law of Averages. Pretty into. Let me see, I got it here. Let's see, maybe in home. Where is it? Right now, I've been also just listening to a lot of like calmer stuff. Right now, I'm like in a dorm, and it's my first time dorming, so just trying to kind of like relax and like kind of calm down a bit. So a lot of like lo-fi hip hop type stuff. I've been listening to this artist named Looper. She's a guitar player and like kind of ambient artist kind of thing. She's pretty cool. And let's see. I discovered. I don't know if you know the producer Knowledge. He had a project, or has been making projects called Meek, or it's like Meek Volume 1, Volume 2, which are all basically uh, unreleased Meek Mill hip hop verses that he just put like beats to, like ones that you'd find on YouTube, just kind of floating around, and that he'd kind of put beats to in the background, and it's pretty cool. It's nice to just kind of like relax and just kind of like do homework too.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually started listening to Donda as well. I'm like 8 tracks in.
Mm-hmm.
How many
right
tracks?
now, it's a 27 track album.
It is way too long. I'll say that. It's
out of all the songs I've heard so far, I would definitely say like Off the Grid is like the best one I've heard so far.
Mm-hmm. I like Off the Grid. Hurricane, Moon is really great. Remote Control I liked a lot. Jail, I love Jail. I thought that's just like a great intro track. Very big Life of Pablo vibes so far.
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
I love
that too.
Life of Pablo.
Yeah, me too.
Now let me ask you something. For someone who's not a Kanye West fan, but would you recommend this as a first album to get into? Like
it's hard to say because like Kanye West has just like changed so much like over the past like since he started, since high school dropout or college dropout. So I mean, if you're younger and you want to listen to newer Kanye, I'd say maybe start with like Life of Pablo, Kids See Ghosts, his Ye project. If you want to get into like that kind of stuff, you should probably listen. If I had to guess one like between all age groups, you'd probably have to listen to, and I haven't even really fully listened to it myself. My Dark Twisted Fantasy. You're probably gonna have to listen to that at some point, you know. But yeah, as far as like his older albums. I never delved too much into his older albums. I'm more of just kind of like that's kind of my personal favorite. Is like kind of started like Life of Pablo and that kind of sound as he's kind of gone on. His Kids See Ghost stuff, his saw his Yay project. Didn't like Jesus is King as much as I thought I would. But yeah. I guess
I've heard a lot about like Pablo and like Yay and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I'd start.
I didn't really like.
What's up?
No, I was gonna say I didn't really like Yay that much.
No, I thought it was solid. I didn't think it was like amazing, but
it's not even like a bad album to say. Like I don't know. I guess it just felt a little generic for what I was expecting from Kanye at that point. I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't ambitious enough. Like the album just seemed kind of forgettable. And you mentioned Kids See Ghosts. Like that album to me felt like it was like the leftovers of that project or just the project he was working on that year. Because I remember he had like 4 or 5 different projects he had worked on that year, and that was like the last of it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, I don't keep that up to date with like Kanye West. Like it was only really in the past like year or two I started kind of delving into this kind of stuff. I never was like that like hyper focused on it. So like when I saw like Kids See Ghosts, I was like, oh, okay. And I just kind of was feeling like this is solid. Like Anthony Fantano gave it a 10. I don't know if it's a 10, but I'd say it's a solid like 7 or 8. You know,
he gave it a 10. That's interesting.
Kids See Ghosts, yeah, he gave it a full on 10. I was like, how about 10? Oh,
that's funny because he gave My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy like a 5 or a 6.
He gave it a 6. That's like the big joke. Everybody makes fun of him for it. It's funny.
No, yeah, because I think it's funny because he recently made a video kind of discussing like all of his controversial like ratings and stuff, and I guess the same people like what was it like 20 or so minutes. He did not change his opinion on any of that stuff. The whole video could basically be summed up to "I said what I said."
Yeah, he made like a re-review where he was just like, yeah. So basically, do I like it more? No, it's still a 6 out of 10.
No, but I'm saying he recently did a video for all of like his controversial reviews, or at least some of them, and obviously he talked about that one.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw the one where he like re-reviewed it.
Yeah, I saw that one too. Yeah, so 3rd time's the charm. Still a 6 out of 10.
We'll see what he says next time. Speaking of Anthony Fantano and 10s, another music I was getting into before was Daughters. He gave that album a 10. You Won't Get What You Want by Daughters. It's this kind of like industrial-ish, like post-rock band kind of thing. I think it's post-punk. Pretty wild, pretty noisy, pretty hectic. Big fan of Daughters now. Their newer album, the You Won't Get What You Want, and their self-titled album. Big fans of those projects.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like I never really know what I'm going to like, what he's going to rate something per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know. I tried listening to that Spelling album that he gave a really good review, and that I just couldn't get into. I played it for like 3 seconds, and I was like, nah, I just kind of turned it off. You know, that's okay. You know, I'm a person with a brain, and so are all of you. You know, you can just kind of have whatever opinion you want.
Like, do you find yourself agreeing with most of his takes, or disagreeing, or maybe somewhere in the middle?
I agree on a lot of them. I find that I really enjoy every review, every album that he gives a 7. I find like I gravitate a lot towards the ones that he gives specifically a 7. Like if he rates it an 8, it's a good album. But a lot of times if he rates it a 7, I'm like, I'm gonna like this one a little more. Like Eve Toomer, he gave like his album a 7. Love that. Both of the albums, the Hands of Love, or what his album titles are so weird. Yes, Toomer. It's like Safe in the Hands of Love. Yeah, this is it. Track Noid, fantastic track. Love that. The Licking the Orchard, Lifetime, all great songs. So I found that that's kind of the realm. He gave another album a 7 that I really liked too. It wasn't this artist, but Sophie, also pretty into. I don't know if you ever listened to Sophie.
No, never heard of her.
She recently passed away. She's like what is it? Like a hyper pop artist.
Like
okay.
Like that type of music.
So when did she start making music?
The album came out in 2019, I think, but I think she's been around for longer than that. Let me see.
Oh, and she's already dead? Oh, wow.
Yeah, she passed away. She apparently was up on the roof looking at the stars and then fell and died.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't like a suicide or something like that, or was it?
I don't think so, because I don't know actually. Let me see. Sophie cause of death.
So okay, so she wasn't 27, so she's not a part of the 27 club. So yeah.
Yeah, she died in Athens, Greece on Saturday morning after she lost her footing and fell from an apartment balcony while enjoying the full moon, reporters said.
Oh my God! Oh, Jesus, that's so
looked up
tragic.
the moon and then fell and died. It's so sad.
Well, I know that's like one of those tragic deaths. That's just like boom. It's like getting hit by a bus or slipping on a banana peel and breaking something and.
That's it. So sad, and it's sad because I love her album. The Oil of Every Pearl.
Yeah. No, because when you said 2019, I was like, oh Jesus. Then how old was she? Like when was this? Wow.
Yeah, in 2018, it looks like.
Now, I noticed too. It's of course, the saying with the musicians, like the 27 Club. The musicians that died. There was a lot of famous musicians that died 27. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Brian Jones from the Stones.
Okay.
And Kurt Cobain from Nirvana.
Wow, that's weird.
And Amy Winehouse too. Oh yeah, it's a real thing. It's called the 27 Club, and it also originates back to an old blues singer from the 30s, Robert Johnson, who died at the age of 27 in 1930.
Come on, that's the age, huh?
Yeah.
Better stop while I'm ahead,
Yeah, and
I should get a business degree.
It's scary, honestly, with that. But there's also the 21 Club that's considered for rappers, because there are specific rappers that die at 21. And
so many rappers died recently that I think is just crazy. The whole emo hip hop thing.
Really?
XXXTentacion. Then Lil Peep died. Juice WRLD died.
They were talking about I don't know that much about him, but everybody's talking about Lil Peep or something like that. He died.
Yeah, Lil Peep.
Lil Peep.
I never listened to him that much, but just pretty influential.
At least we get that much time, too.
Oh yeah, very influential over the whole sound, and just all three of them just completely up and down.
Well, that's with Mac Miller too. He was 26, but he just missed it by the 27, But
Mac Miller, Circles. I gotta listen to that album.
I remember I was at my friend's house and I heard and comedian Jay Farrow had a tweet about Mac Miller saying rest in peace, and I'm like, holy shit, I think Mac Miller just died, so I had to look it up, and I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it, because just because I know the guy was 6 years older than me, and I still remember it, even though this was 2018 when he died, I still remember in 2013 it was yesterday when he performed with Ariana Grande for the first time.
Yeah. I love that song with Ariana Grande. What was it? It was before Ariana Grande went super duper.
It was The
pop.
Way, right? The Way.
Yeah, The Way.
Yeah, I love that. That one's really good. It's one of her. I think it's one of her best ones. And it was still, I think she did it while she was on Victoria still. I think she recorded it while Victoria was in.
I think so. Yeah. Do my singing in the shower.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because I remember because I remember in the summer, because Victoria's I think ended a few months earlier, and all of a sudden on YouTube I'm seeing Ariana Grande's name, and I'm like, what? Why is her name getting on the trending? And then she's on Jimmy Fallon and all that stuff, and then I'm like, oh, maybe she's gonna become a big pop star, and I'm like, oh, she is.
She blew up.
And now she's still the biggest pop star in the world.
Yeah, no, she blew up. She is the most successful person after Nickelodeon.
I would say, a lot of big, artists like Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus, they got their start from Disney. Ariana Grande is the only really big star from Nickelodeon. Listen, in Drake and Josh, it's different. Drake, it's not the best time to talk about Drake Bell at the moment.
Josh Peck's been doing great.
But yeah, Josh Peck has had his career as a YouTuber now. He's big as a YouTuber, and now he's got his own TV series.
He's been everywhere and doing great. He had Vine for a while.
Yeah.
Then he did
big as an internet guy.
Then he got married. Now he's a dad.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say he's like the second biggest. Well, actually, you know what? I retract that statement. And I would say maybe Ariana Grande is number one from Nickelodeon, but probably because I think people keep forgetting too, or at least I forget, because he's been on SNL for such a long time. Kenan Thompson, he got to start on Nickelodeon. So I would say he's like the second.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then it would be Josh.
You know what? I think Kenan Thompson might be top, honestly. Because he's just had so much time.
He might even be top before Ariana Grande. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I would still put Ariana Grande at number one.
Yeah,
just because she.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Kenan Thompson's been around for a long time.
Oh yeah, no, he's not
in like the 90s.
He's definitely up there. He's definitely beats Josh Peck, I think's rating, but yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that she's just way. I think she's just way bigger than he is right now. Like in general.
Yeah, definitely because
but for how
a big thing,
But for how long can she keep it up?
Well, music always dominates like comedians and actors and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like a slower rolling force. Like Kenan Thompson's still relevant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a close number two, but that's what I'm saying. I think she's just overall number one right now.
I mean, she's almost been around as a big star for almost 10 years now. I mean, I'll be honest. Like Justin Bieber, I thought his career was dead, but he's still pretty big. Like I thought by 2015 he was gonna be gone away. Nobody was gonna hear from him anymore.
Bieber is solidified at this point. He's not going anywhere.
No, he still floats around and still gets a lot of attention, like Yummy or whatever.
No, I mean, he's already established his legacy, whatever that is.
It's funny. I know, as a kid, a lot of people didn't like his music. They thought it was very but now I know people I know people when I was in high school started to like his music. When I was a junior and senior, and in college, I know that. But I'm not into that. But I think it's I'm not that much into because he does more of sort of the hip hop-ish, the rapping kind of thing. Where I'm not more into that type of singing hip hop-ish kind of thing. But I will say. Somebody who was always, joked on and always got the butt of the jokes in schools and guys could not like the group otherwise you get made fun of his One Direction and once Harry Styles had his, because honestly with One Direction I thought that they were kind of silly too. I thought that it was bubblegum crap that was written by just another wasn't self-written artists. Written by labels that were just basically and almost
you just kind of use them.
What?
Just kind of use them as the puppet for
almost the puppets and all that stuff are industry plants and whatever. But but when I heard Harry Styles song "Sign of the Times" and stuff like that, I was like, okay, yeah, I underestimated this guy. This guy's pretty good. And then when I heard "Watermelon Sugar" and I'm like, oh my freaking god, this is actually a pretty good song. And it's so funny too, just it got me because of course this Watermelon Sugar is a sexual innuendo apparently from other seasons. And and I think that's just what's so funny about it too, that how just if a good big son is, and also too he got a lot of recognition when he was at the Grammys when he won the award for it. Apparently, I didn't notice, but his necklace that he had, it was a banana, but it was the shape. It was styled more. It looked like a banana, but it was actually a penis or something like that. It was
really?
Something like that. That's what it was. I forget exactly. It could have just been a banana, but everybody was saying he was wearing a penis necklace or something like that, or he was wearing something like that.
Yeah. I never pay attention too much to Harry Styles, but Justin Bieber, I find, I'm never going to listen to his solo music, but I think he's just one of those artists like Ty Dolla $ign, where, whenever he's featured on a song, I'm happy he's there, but I'm never going to go to his solo stuff afterwards, because I know it's probably not that great.
I mean, listen, I know that, Justin Bieber's gotten a lot of, SHIT over the years and all that stuff, and, I know that he's, gotten, always, he's become the butt of the jokes, and, he's done some things that are not cool, but, I think the thing, too, it's, I don't, I don't hate him, I don't think he's,
Yeah, no.
I don't
I remember paying attention to him when I saw him on Travis Scott's what was it, Maria I'm Drunk, and he had his little vocal snippet there in the middle, and I was like, wow, that was pretty solid.
I think too it's he had his problems over the years. I know I didn't really notice until honestly this year, or I think I forgot that there was stuff I think that came out years ago of him of foolish stuff he did in when he was 14 or something like that.
Oh, that if you have a camera follow around, if you're like the most famous 14-year-old in the world, like of course people are gonna catch
Yeah,
you.
well, there was like some racial, there was some racial slurs.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
that,
he was
and
saying
like,
the one
and I
less
think,
lonely.
yeah.
I remember
Like,
that.
when I heard that, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's like, like Jesus."
Yeah, but like kids 14,
yeah, the kid's 14.
Like,
I think it's like, I think, listen, I mean, that's not like an appropriate thing. And I think, like, listen, it's like, I mean, at 14, I knew that was like not okay and all that. But, you know, some people, I think it's like, it's different.
Right, but I don't think you meant to upload that.
Type of thing, you know?
I don't think you meant to upload that to YouTube or anything. I think those
no,
are probably
I
just
think
like one
it's
of those
just,
like
you know,
personal, just funny jokes.
When you're young like that, I think it's like, it's possible it's of trying to fit in, trying to be funny, not knowing word and all that stuff. And like,
I like totally forgot about that.
No, because like, but like, I think too. I think he has gone past that phase, and I don't know. I mean, like,
yeah, no, I'm sure he has.
But you know, like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but you know, it's like I respect the artist. I respect, you know, like he seems like he's changed. He seems like he's a decent person now. So you know, I mean, it's like if you think about like Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore was like off the rails in the '90s. You know, like hardest person to deal with. I mean, I remember my professor in when I was in high school with my film professor talked about that he worked with her because he was like doing this film project or like this studio project, and she was involved in that, and she was like only like 13 at the point, and she's cursing, drinking, and all that, and she was just a brat to deal with. And now, I mean, she's kind of like, you know, like cleaned up her career and all that stuff, and you know, like like, and in the 2000s, she like cleaned up her career and kind of like, and you see her now, and it's like, yeah, she seems like she's better, you know, she seems like more, you know.
Yeah, I think it's kind of silly we're gonna blame some kid for what he did when he was 13, 14.
Yeah, exactly.
I said pretty crazy shit then too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we've all have said stuff that we wish we didn't do, or we've all.
Yeah, and then you grow up and you learn like the cultural context behind it or whatever, and then you move on. You know?
Yeah, I think that's like the thing too. Yeah, but no, I mean, from when we're talking about that, I mean, like other artists that I guess I like because I'm more of like an old soul, so I like stuff from like the 60s, 70s. Well, artists like that I do like from, you know, this time, like Bruno Mars, Ed Sheeran. I mean, what I love about Bruno Mars is that he's such a like, he definitely has the influence. Like you can definitely tell like his influence from 80s and 70s stuff from like Michael Jackson and Prince. And also too, like even like Ed Sheeran, you can also tell his influence from stuff like Elton John. And actually I think he's on Elton John's label, I think. So
yeah, Bruno is killing it. Like Bruno, have you heard they're Silk Sonic or whatever?
I need to hear that. I know people are talking.
Oh, it's so you haven't heard the Leave the Door Open?
No, I haven't heard that yet.
What? That song's so great. It's so good. The whole thing with Anderson .Paak, I'm so excited for when that project drops.
I did love his version of what he did at the Grammys when Little Richard died. His tribute of Little Richard I thought was really great, doing like On Tall Sally and Tutti Frutti.
Oh no, I didn't see it, but I could totally picture it now that you say it.
It was actually it was a pretty good performance, and it was great because like Bruno Mars, I felt like kind of disappeared for a few years and stuff like that because he released his album in 2016 and then like he disappeared or something like that.
Yeah, he just kind of stopped, but now it's okay because he's back with Anderson .Paak.
Yeah,
and I'm excited. You know.
No, and like he's one of my favorite because I loved I loved in middle school listening to songs like Grenade, Just the Way You Are, Lazy Song, and of course Uptown Funk.
Yeah, 24K Magic album though, that one's like that's fire.
Oh, that's good.
That was a good album.
To the moon.
Yeah, me and my friend like we would jam to that, like you know all that stuff. Like I got a condo women, baby girl, what's that?
Yeah.
Like we would just be driving to that, like and just like
no, those are all bangers.
Like yeah, like no, like yeah, and well no, it's just like no, great stuff and all that stuff, and like also too like you know another artist that like I used to love, but they're just not as good as they used to be is Maroon 5.
Yeah.
I think their first album, Songs About James, was great and all that. And even like their second and third album was good. But like once Moves Like Jagger came out, they became too commercial. Now even
it's like now it's like the Adam Levine band.
Yeah, exactly, because he just became too commercial with stuff like being on The Voice. Apparently he started becoming more commercial too when I didn't notice, but when he started doing stuff like he was on a Kanye West single in 2005 and all that.
He was?
Yeah. So he started getting like recognition like himself like in like the late 2000s, and then like by like The Voice he was like like they made it's like what you said, it was more the Adam Levine band, and that's when like Moves Like Jagger was around. But Moves Like Jagger, even though I say that, is still a good song, and that's the same like with Payphone and like One More Night. Like I like that stuff, and I even like Sugar, but like their album Red Pill Blues was probably their worst one, honestly.
Yeah, I never listened to like their full albums.
Like,
To be
well,
on,
I haven't listened to the full albums, but like I've just the singles. But like, if you hear like "Girls Like You," that is, I would say, their worst song ever. It goes nowhere. It like honestly, it's like it goes like the song doesn't go anywhere. It's just this soft, mellow thing that's not even a good beat. It sticks into one area and doesn't like structure like properly as a song. And the music video is so stupid too. It's just like Adam Levine dancing with a celebrity that changes each time. Like once it's Camila Cabello, then it's Cardi B, then it's Millie Bobby Brown, and it's like, and then it ends with Ellen DeGeneres. It's just, it was very like, the video was stupid, the song was stupid,
yeah, I was never really like that big of a fan. I just kind of knew like their older like pop hits from like the 2000s. Just
Yeah,
kind of like nice nostalgic music from then, like the
yeah,
She
like I
Will
mean,
Be Loved.
oh my gosh, no,
Yeah,
like This Love, yeah, She Will Be Loved, and then
yeah,
also like Sunday Morning I think is one of their most beautiful songs, I think.
yeah. I'd love to really hitch a gig as like one of the Maroon 5 members right now that isn't Adam Levine. Just be like, yeah, I play Triangle, and just like sit on my couch all day and collect a check. And, like, yeah, I'm part of Maroon 5.
Yeah.
They just produced the whole thing at the studio, and it's just like the producer now, Levine. Like,
Okay. Well, it's like I like there's a few songs about Jane that I like too. Well, it's like Harder to Breathe is a good one. Must Get Out, but I like the one that actually Adam Levine actually, because a lot of the songs he composed with either James Valentine or Jesse Carmichael. But the one he wrote by himself that was on Songs About Jane, which is what ends the album, The Sweetest Goodbye, and that's actually a really good one. And that was like,
okay.
20 years ago when they recorded that, because the album came out in 2002. So it's been like, and like, but their singles didn't get released until like 2004 and all that. But no, they had some good stuff for a while. But like, I don't know. I mean, who knows if their stuff will be as great as it once was. I mean, I did hear
Probably
their
not.
memories in 2019. That wasn't so bad. But I don't like, so hopefully they can go into a direction that like, I mean, like of just like not fully. I know you can never fully go back. Just like go into a style that sounds like the way it once, because when I feel like Songs About Jane is a very like a band that's like not mainstream at the moment, just like a regular rock band, but then
Yeah,
once
but the cool.
all these poppy stuff.
Yeah, the cool thing though is that those albums are still there.
Yeah,
Like I feel like to wish that someone like 20 years later goes back to a sound and a mindset from 20 years ago is like kind of silly. Like
yeah.
at least you always have those projects to go back to.
Yeah, I mean I mean, you never know. I mean, like Elton John, for instance, in 2016, he released an album, "Wonderful Crazy Nights," and that was kind of more on the edge of going back to the Elton John '70s feel in some ways, but they were still new songs. It wasn't like completely looking back. It was moving forward, but going back to like remembering the roots. And all that stuff. Having like, because that album was the longest was like the first album in a while. Since he had his old backing band from the '70s, that was an album that was fully composed by songs from him and Bernie Taupin, his lyricist, and I forget who the producer he worked with, but he was also a producer from the '70s and all that stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah. What were you
it just reminds me of I don't know if you heard Paul McCartney. He did like some of his newer stuff. He did like this song, "The For You."
Oh yeah,
You ever heard that stuff?
That was good. That was good.
You like that?
Yeah. Why did you not?
Nah, I didn't really fuck with it too much. I saw. Oh, do you guys curse here? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Because I know you said SHI.
I know. I don't know why I did that. Because
I
I think I said it earlier, so I don't know why I did it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. All right. Dope. Yeah. I don't know. Just because I'm already not a Beatles fan, so I heard that and I was like,
I mean, some good. I mean, like, listen, it's like it's hard for me. I try to listen to the new stuff because I feel like even though I do like the old stuff better, I know it's not gonna like. I try to listen to Ringo's new stuff. I try to listen to Paul's new stuff. I mean, like some of the songs, like like "Did You Come On to Me" on Egypt Station was good. I think even like the stuff on McCartney 3, like Lavator Lil, which some people think was about his ex-wife who he married about like almost 20 years ago, who was basically just a model that was like after his money, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
Okay.
so the song was basically all like about that. Like, look out for Lavator Lil. You think she's hunky dory, but she just wants you to buy you. She just wants you to buy you her a Ferrari. So I thought that was
Right.
kind of funny. So like a lot of people were saying that was based on like Heather Mills.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of like I like as a kid because like I didn't know that much about like and honestly I don't really give a shit about musicians' personal life. It's only interesting
Right. Yeah.
music in some ways, how
Right.
it affects the music. But like I remember hearing in elementary school people talking about him with Heather Mills because apparently it was a big deal because apparently she was a big British model at the time and she was on Dancing with the Stars. I really don't know much about her, and honestly, like I don't even know if I could recognize a picture of her if I saw her really. But like I remember like people telling me, like my mother and like my teachers in elementary school, that like just how like nasty she was and that just she was not good for Paul.
Hmm. Yeah, there's like so much shit between that, and of course, no one's got to mention the whole feud between with what do you call it, Yoko Ono.
Oh yeah,
All
I mean,
that.
there's a lot of stuff with that. Like I know a lot of people like hate Yoko, and I'm like, in some ways it's like we leave. I mean, John was happy. John fell in love with her. I think it was like that, and it's simple. Like life. That's what John was doing in the '70s. He was doing songs like "Life Moves On." Like he had a song called
Right.
like a God, where it's like he goes like I don't, and he does this whole thing like I don't believe in Beatles, I don't believe in Kennedy, I don't believe in this, like, and then he goes like I just, it's like the dream that told me, like what could I say? It's like I was the dream weaver, but now I'm John, and it's like
Right.
I think it's like what he was doing was like moving on, and I think also too. I mean, like, listen, I'm not saying like like Yoko Ono as like a music artist, like I'm not a fan of her stuff either. If you've heard her songs, there's not that much there. But although I forget what group my dad was telling me this, but my dad was telling me the story that this musical group from like that were big in like the 90s, 2000s actually named Yoko Ono an influence. And I don't know exactly why. Because I remember my dad was saying like he was kind of shocked by that
Who
answer.
named Yoko Ono as an influence?
What?
Who is it?
I forget. No, like that's the thing. I forget the group's name, but it was like in the 90s or 2000s. It was like a female. Like it was a female. It was like I think it was yeah like
I think I heard about that too.
Yeah. Okay, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a '90s group.
Yeah,
Band.
it was. Yeah. I don't think it was. I don't think it was the Cranberries. I don't think.
I feel like Yoko Ono gets a little too much hate. I feel like
No,
because like
she
a lot
does.
of people like who like don't like it weren't gonna be the ones to like it. You know what I mean? Like most people that are Beatles fans, like they're not gonna like the type of stuff that like Yoko Ono makes. It's like way on the other side of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she
I've
always
tried
said
to get
weird
into it.
sounding stuff.
Well, the thing too, it's like I mean, there are people that don't like you, like. Well, I mean, of course, like John Lennon's first son does not like him, Julian, and I mean, of course, it's like Yoko's not his mother,
Well,
So
that's good. Yeah, that's because Yoko like fucked him over for like
well,
money or
he
something like
did.
that.
Like
That's
if
a
you
whole
see him
nother.
in an interview, like he actually like really like he rips on Yoko, saying she's just very manipulative and she knew what she was doing day one when she met him. Like that's like basically, so you could tell he's like.
That's what I remember. There was something where like she was like withholding money from him.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, that's what it was, kind of.
Ah.
And like apparently the thing was with his wife, Cynthia, with his first wife, Cynthia, like when Yoko asked Julian to come to New York after John was killed, like he was like I think a little like skeptical of doing it himself going, and so Cynthia asked if she could come with him, and Yoko said, "Well, no, it's not like you're an old school friend of mine." And like kind of like she was just kind of like really like shocked by that answer and stuff like that.
Oh.
And
Jeez.
No, so like, of course, there's like some stuff about Yoko's personality that was not, great, and I know, like, it's been known that she's not like had not the best personality, but honestly, there has been talk that John didn't have the best personality either. So
Oh yeah, no one has to go on about the thing with John,
yeah,
the
I
whole
mean, listen,
joke.
I mean, I know that there's these jokes on TikTok, and honestly, that's like, I feel like TikTok is very toxic in itself. But like, I
Yeah,
get like the
what do you
jokes that
want it
they're
to
making
be?
about John. Because listen, I'm not saying that John Lennon's an effing saint, because he's not. He did some effed up things in the past, and he did some stuff. But also, too, he did apologize for that stuff, and he did realize his what was wrong about it. Like, and he
Yeah,
didn't. Like he talked about like how he was a changed man. After that. And it's like people are just like wanting to focus on the bad, and I guess that's fine for them at the moment because they think it's gonna get them like a lot of views and get them a lot of likes. But hey.
yeah. I mean, I just like you have to kind of pick and choose. I feel like we're in an era now where like everybody gets to meet their heroes. There is no like veil anymore because everyone has social media, so everybody gets to see just how much of an asshole that like their favorite artist is. So I think like it kind of teaches people to kind of like just interpret them for what you want. I think Buddy Rich is a great drummer. I don't think he's a great person.
Oh, I didn't know that much about Buddy Rich as a person.
Oh, he was like an asshole. He was crazy. Like he was like he had his band, the Buddy Rich Big Band.
Yeah.
There are like tapes of him that inspired the movie Whiplash.
Oh, really?
Like,
was that
like,
based on J.K. Simmons' character?
Yeah. Like, if you go back, there's like look up like Buddy Rich shoots out his band, and he goes on, he's like, "What the fuck is wrong?" And he like yells at him for like 10 minutes and like kicks them off the bus and stuff.
Well, people say Eric Clapton is not the nicest person to deal with either, because like some people say like some fans like try to get an autograph from him, and he was just like freaking rude and all that stuff. And also too, like what Eric Clapton's doing now, like listen, I still love Eric Clapton, and even though he's on this whole anti-vax movement and he's like doing all this, yeah. Oh, did you hear about that?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, but that's not gonna make me stop listening to his music. It's not
right. It's like, wow, that guy sucks, and then just like listen. To
it's like no. I mean, like, does that mean that he's maybe not the best human, like, or not the nicest human? Okay, yeah, maybe, but like, it's
that's not why you listen to his music.
That's not why you know. You don't listen for the person. You don't listen. Like it's like the same with Van Morrison, because Van Morrison was doing a lot of this like anti-COVID stuff too, and I think Van Morrison is still one of the greatest songwriters out there, no matter like what he was doing now, like during 2020, and even like I don't know what he's doing now, but no, like I think Van Morrison is like one of the greatest like songwriters of like of the '60s and just like of all like and is up there with like Bob Dylan and Neil Young, and Stevie Wonder as well. But like another interesting like story of like Never Meet Your Heroes is I don't know if you know The Sopranos, that show.
Yeah, I know the show. I never watched it, but I know of it.
Well, the actor Michael Imperioli talks about that, like talking about this time where he was doing a movie where Prince was involved with the soundtrack. And he and Michael Imperioli talked about that he was a huge Prince fan and all that stuff. And at the party, he saw Prince, and he wanted to go up to him, and Prince's security team, like this, like a security guard, like it was a male and a woman, and they were like, "Can you not look at him?" And like he was just like taken back. Like, wait, what? And he goes like, and he just wanted to say hi, and they're just like keep blocking him, and he's just sitting in this VIP area with a girl and all that stuff, and like he's just like, and Prince is like looking and looks away and all that, and they're like, we just don't want you to look at him. He like don't notice him, and he's like, what? You mean not notice the guy like wearing purple all over the place and all that stuff? And then he goes like, and it was just like he was saying, it was just very shocked. He was just saying and it wouldn't have hurt me too much if I wasn't that much of a fan, but because I was a big fan, definitely, like touched a nerve.
Right.
Well, it's funny how he started because it's on his podcast, the Talking Sopranos podcast with the other guy from it. It's a funny podcast. But he talks about it. He's like, no, I don't like Prince. He was a dick to me at a party once. Right. But then he made a joke about it. He goes like, no. Even though that then I still love Prince. He was saying Prince is still a great artist. He was saying.
Yeah, like in a way, it's kind of a good thing that we have to deal with that, like so early on. Every person that's famous, like in like a year, it's like, hey, turns out this guy beat his mom, you know, like, and you just find that out like instantly. And it's like you don't have to like go through like decades or like you finally meet him and then you find that out, you know. You just kind of get it now, and so it kind of desensitizes you.
There was this effed up story, and I guess we're on this realm, but I don't know. This is like an interesting story. Now, do you know the '60s groups, the Mamas and the Papas?
No, but I'm already scared by the name of the band.
Well, actually, there is a
Oh, no.
it actually goes into it in a sense. But they were big in the '60s. They had hits like California Dreamin', like I don't know, you might have heard their stuff, like California Dreamin', Monday.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, kind of.
Yeah. It was like, you know, it was one of the first famous rock groups because it was the first kind of integrated group with 2 males and 2 females and all that stuff. And the leader of the group, John Phillips, apparently, because his daughter was a big actress too, Mackenzie Phillips, and there was a report that, and Mackenzie Phillips, like she was in the movie American Graffiti. I don't know if you ever saw that film.
Never saw it. No.
No. And she was, I forget what other film she was in, but she was a big actress for a while. But she apparently came out like about 12 years ago that John Phillips, who's her father, who was the leader of the Mamas and the Papas and all that stuff, apparently, you know, had a sexual relationship, which, you know, in all terms, raped her, you know, as like had a relationship with her for 10 years and all that stuff. And she came out with a story, and nobody knew what to make of it because she.
There was a relationship with who was it?
It was his daughter, Mackenzie Phillips. Yeah, and she talks about that she was high on drugs, and he was high on drugs. So she can't tell for sure, but it's a very creepy story. So it's like, yeah, like that, like when it's like, okay, that's weird. I mean, like, I love their songs, but maybe that means just to tell me not to get into like their albums and all that shit.
Right.
Or get too into them and think like John Phillips is a genius, even though he did write some great lyrics. But like, okay.
Yeah.
That is
kind of like, disconnect yourself.
Whoa.
Just like disconnect yourself as much as you can.
Disconnect yourself as much as you can. If you're not that big of a fan, don't try to be now, you know?
Yeah. You know, like, it's one of those things where I feel like sometimes people will use it to just, like, go against them or whatever, but, like, we'll never, like, when it comes to, like, they kind of pick and choose which ones they want to use that history with, I noticed. Like, I remember talking about, like, Kanye, and there's some people that are like, I don't like Kanye. Oh, white people, they like Kanye. He said this stuff about racism. And so I'm like, okay, you know, yeah, is Kanye crazy? Of course. But then, like, a minute later, they were like talking about, they were like, oh man, I love Michael Jackson. And I'm like,
yeah.
What? Like, you're gonna pretend like Michael Jackson doesn't have anything in the closet? Like, he had like a house over in Disneyland or whatever, where you like had sexual. Oh, you're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen? Like, I mean, allegedly. I mean, nothing's been proven about Kanye yet, but you know, like,
I mean, sorry, what were you saying, Anthony?
No, I was gonna say, well, the thing with Kanye is not even like he's done anything per se. It's just the stuff that comes out of his mouth that rubs people the wrong way.
Oh yeah, no, but I think like it's just the point of like, you know, separating the human being from the music, you know.
Yeah, it's like our teacher usually says, "I'll celebrate the art from the artist."
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's just funny how like in that moment they like really separated, like they completely zoned in on one person and then just like completely went right around the other.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like is that people are very picky and choosy when it comes to that. Like, there's a lot of bias. If it's an artist they like, they'll do the whole separate the art from the artist. But if it's an artist that they don't like, it's okay.
They'll be like, oh, it's because he's racist and he's sexist and because he kicked a puppy, you know.
Yeah,
it's a lot of BS with that. So
yeah,
I try to be fair with it. Like whenever I like look at an artist, I'm looking like strictly at their music. I don't want to say that I necessarily don't care about the stuff that they do like outside of that. But if I'm like critiquing that stuff, I'm just critiquing the music. Like whatever, the whole other discussion.
Yeah, like
right.
I would say that I like as a musician and like personally or just of what they've done like activist wise or for the country. It's like Crosby, Stills, and Nash. You know, they wrote prolific songs for our country and all the stuff that were just, you know, about the movement of like, you know, of the younger generation at the time in the 60s, with like writing a song like Long Time Gone, which was about the upset of Martin Luther King being killed and, you know, and Robert, because, you know, and it's just like it's a beautiful song, and like other stuff they did too, like even Stephen Still's song from Buffalo Springfield, "For What It's Worth," which is known as one of the greatest protest songs. It's time we stop now. What's that sound? Like everybody knows that like lyric, but the title "For What It's Worth" because it's not in there. So if you don't know what it is, you probably know which song. But
right.
Yeah, but no, like the stuff that they did, like and like even like the songs that they did were really like kind of like like prolific, like I said, prolific and just like really like beneficial for like the country or for like the movement of like change, in a sense like that, change and revolution, and like they still.
Right.
I mean, listen, they're kind of like personality wise, like David Crosby is known as like one of the craziest musicians out there. Okay, well, you know who Charles Manson is, right?
No, of course.
Okay. Well, no. So, like, did you know that, like, in like the '60s, Charles Manson tried to be a musician and all that?
Yeah, and you can buy. Did you know you could buy his albums on Amazon?
Oh my God, you can what?
And you can listen
I
to them on
didn't
my
know that.
Spotify. They're on streaming services.
No.
You go listen to them. Charles Manson's
No, I'm
such
good.
a crazy. Like he's such an interesting person.
I mean, yeah. Well, he's definitely interested in what crazy. I mean, hell, he fucking killed people.
He started killing people
Wait,
because
what?
of a Beatles song.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
Helter Skelter. No, you know Anthony. You know about him, right? Charles Manson, the guy who was the nut in the '60s.
Yeah, he was a cult leader.
The movement was Helter
No.
Skelter. It was influenced by the Beatles song. Okay.
Yeah, so
I've never heard
basically,
about this.
yeah, no. So basically, what happened is this guy named Charles Manson heard a Beatles song and decided that this song was about like black people were gonna take over or something
It was a
and
race
like
war.
kill
That's
the
what
white
he
people
said.
and like a race war.
Oh
So
my
he was
goodness.
like, "Holy crap, we gotta kill people." I don't even know if the people he killed were black, but like
No, they weren't. It was like the biggest movie star, Shannon Tate.
Yeah,
They
so that
just
didn't
did
even
it.
make sense.
Quentin Tarantino did a film on that,
Yeah, so then he started a cult and then had people kill people, and then he
Yeah, it
got
was the
thrown in
Manson
jail. And
family.
there's just like insane like interviews of him.
And the Beach Boys had this connection with him because, see, Manson was a drifter, and he had this cult of people, and it was basically this cult of it was this all these like young women, and it was like these big orgies and all that stuff, and they came to like Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys like his house, and like they kind of lived with him, and Dennis Wilson was kind of like they were mooching off of Dennis Wilson and all that, and Dennis Wilson at first thought it was cool, a lot of drugs, sex, and all that stuff, until he noticed like they were killing people and that they were just insane.
Oh my God.
But yeah, because they had like this, because the Beach Boys did Manson's song on like "For Not to Love," which was first called "Never Cease to Exist," and Dennis Wilson, like the lyrics, like for instance, like the example in the title, like apparently Charles Manson went nuts on him, and that's when Dennis, instead of like just kicking them out of the house, he was so scared that he left the premises and left the house to them. Apparently, like a month or two later, they had to leave because they didn't pay the mortgage and all that. So they were evicted from the house. But yeah, but like no, so that's how Dennis Wilson's connection was left with them. But that was a crazy story. But the thing was, the producer, I think his name was Terry Melcher. He was actually Doris Day, the big actress from the '40s. Son, that was her son. Terry Melcher was a producer, and he did stuff for the Beach Boys. He did stuff for the Byrds. But this is what he talks about, like for instance, like David Crosby from Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Because David Crosby, I think, was known to be bipolar, big drug addict, and all that stuff. He's known to be very opinionated and has damaged a lot of relationships with his bandmates and other musicians and a lot of people. But like Terry Melcher had this statement, I think like that, basically that like the two most difficult people he dealt with in the music industry were Charles Manson and David Crosby.
Oh my!
So it's like it just tells you a lot, like yeah. Well, the thing that's so funny, it's like with David Crosby is like if you listen to his voice, he's got like a really like angelic voice. Like his voice is like like really soothing and peaceful, And yet, I guess we lost Anthony's connection. Hopefully.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, yeah. But I don't mean to keep you. I don't know how long you got.
No, that's fine. I don't have too long. It's just my dad. I just gotta call my dad real quick to like
okay
about something.
Yeah,
just because he's coming up tomorrow, so I just gotta tell him he's gotta bring my camera for a video project. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, are you going to school for video too, or no?
I'm going to school for new media.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm a broadcasting major, so yeah, I've been doing that.
Okay, sick. Yeah. Yeah, they got some RTV programs over here. I wouldn't mind getting involved with, you know.
Yeah. No. I'm really glad that you were on this interview. I actually texted Joe today telling him you were on. I said, "Is there any other chance that you can get on the show?" And he said, "Like, I'll definitely try to come on like one time." He says, "I just been very busy lately." But yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I know he just graduated high school. I think he's doing like his master's, but not high school. He just graduated college.
Yeah.
He's just got to do his master's program, I think.
Now, how old are you? Just out of curiosity.
Me, 22.
Oh, you're 20. Oh, same.
Okay.
When did you turn 22?
May 11th.
Oh, okay. Oh, so on December. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Yes, I'll be 23 and this December.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But yeah. No. Thank you so much for being on the show. And he's this is a message from Anthony. He said he'll be back in a minute. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So we can. So if it like, I guess we can end it there and all that. You know.
All right. Yeah. Sure. Well, it's been awesome being here. It's been awesome talking to you guys. You know, and yeah, thank you for having me. You know.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah. And then if you definitely also have something else to promote another time, definitely you're always welcome to come on.
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, all I have right now is just what do you call October 1st? I'll be playing in Long Island with my band, the Castaways.
Okay, cool. And what location again?
Danford's and Port Jeff.
All right, remember that, people.
All right.
All right. Awesome. Great seeing you, man.
See you. Yeah, you
Thank
too.
You for being
yeah.
on, Brandon.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too. All right. Bye.
See you.
Okay, well, that was a really fun guest to have on, and really fun discussion. And we're almost at 2 hours. Yeah, no. So Anthony said he'll try to be back on. Hopefully we can keep on a little bit. Yeah, but no, it's great. I can't believe we are on. Can you believe, guys, we are on our 10th episode? This is our 10th episode of this series. We've already done, we've done 10. I can't believe we've done 10 interviews, and these guests have been great and all that stuff. It's great recognition. I mean, I feel like in some ways that like we want to give them, hopefully we can get some recognition for ourselves, but also too, I just love doing these. I just love, I love the music process. I love knowing what goes on in a musician's head. I mean, music, it really is my life. Talk about that stuff. I love that and all that, and that's he says he'll be back on. So I'll keep it going a little bit. If I don't think he's gonna be on for that much longer, then we'll stop, and we'll call it a night. But we're planning on having like some more interviews soon. We might have an interview tomorrow and all that stuff. It looks like. I'm not gonna say anything definite yet. You'll know. I try to I don't really want to do that many updates because it puts a lot of pressure if I put some on social media and something happens. I mean, I do it right when I know I'm doing it, or I make sure that I can do it, and all that. But for the most part, I mean, I think people have been knowing my schedule. I mean, we've been doing hopefully we'll be doing a few more, and all that stuff, and hopefully we'll keep it going, and I will keep you updated on what's going on with the show of when we're doing our interviews, how much more we're doing. We're trying to get as much as we can in, and and all that. Of course, as you've seen, this is now another time that you've seen me here at Oswego. My dorm room and all that stuff. I live in a apartment complex called the Village, which is on campus and all that. But no. So it's nice, and the only thing, of course, that's different with that than Long Island is it's a little colder weather. It's not so bad at the moment, but I have a few days off at the moment, which I guess will be getting my schoolwork done. But also trying to work on other projects and all that stuff. I also have had some videos of what you would call for instance, the organization I'm involved in, Oswego Digital Music Association. That is one of my videos that I have. Uh, and yeah, no, of like talking about it from the previous interviews with Kato and Akil and all that. Um, so we're gonna be we're gonna be doing that. I had another short clip I put of an interview with Kato and all that. That was a very funny clip of him talking about the time when Michael Jackson apparently just stood still on stage and audience members freaked out. But yeah, no. So definitely watch those videos. Those were very hysterical. I mean, Kato was a great storyteller and all that. But yeah, no. So yeah, and I'm trying to. I think I'm going to be cutting some short clips when I have the time of certain interviews and all that stuff, or certain segments and all that. It's my plan to do some of that. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that with all the interviews. 'Cause that does take a little bit of time, and I'm just really at the moment just trying to do these at the moment, and all that. Nothing really fancy. I mean, it's great that I've been able to keep consistent with this. I mean, this has basically been I think this year has been probably the year of most of where I've made most content. Even I think this probably might even be more than I did in 2017, because in 2017 I did a good amount of content, but some I deleted because just I wasn't happy with it, or just I put on private, and all that. But this stuff is stuff that I'm like very happy with, and that I want to keep on, and all that, but yeah, no. So yeah. And no, so we're at 101 subscribers. It's like I said, it's insane, and all that. Um, I can't thank you guys enough for that. Of course, I'm not really, like what really helps me more, of course, with doing the videos is motivation, but also, just having people who will support my channel. And, like my friends and my family have been very supportive, and I really appreciate that, and, so I want to thank, like everybody for that, in some ways, like I say, it's not, of course, there are other milestones that are bigger in some sense, but this is a milestone for me, in some ways. But yeah, but I don't. It doesn't look like Anthony's coming on. I know he's been having his computer issues. So, but we'll keep it going for a little bit. We'll do some stuff. If this one person who's watching wants to comment, maybe we could have a story where this person can ask me some questions. But for now, I thought, why not tell a little bit. I actually had a few stories put in mind for today, just in case this was happening, because I know we were having some technical issues. So I wanted to put some stories in place just in case. Oh, and we have Anthony back on. Anthony, what's up, man?
Not much.
Yeah, no. So we basically, just ended it. So Brandon basically just left and all that. But he's doing a show in Port Jeff, and what did you think of him as a guest?
It was good. I enjoyed him as a guest.
Yeah, no, I thought he was a pretty good guest. I thought he's one of the best guests we've had so far too. It was
Yeah, I
very
agree.
discussion based. I think that's the thing I love about this interview, about these series, is that like it's great that like we can interview them about their music, but also if we can go into a discussion base, it shows you too that like music is a powerful thing. Music gotta live, it's gotta breathe.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was and also I think we gotta also congratulate, because I was talking about how I got to 100 already, like 100 subscribers, and all that sense of how it's this little milestone for me. But we also have other things to celebrate, because Anthony, our friend Anthony, now is in Five Towns College, also too. So
Woo.
I'm what?
I was like, woo woo.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're both in different colleges. We're no longer in Suffolk County Community College, and of course, that's like Brandon. He's also in, Purchase too. We were all from Suffolk, and all that. But we've all moved on. We're all grown up now. All grown up. But yeah, no. But Anthony, tell everybody how your college experience is and like what you're doing at the moment.
It's going good. It's going well so far. I started on Wednesday, so I've only had like 2 days worth of classes. But I mean, for the most part, I think I've experienced all my classes, because I do have one online one. I have to take psychology again because I got I didn't
Oh,
get as yeah because I didn't get as good of a grade on that because I got like a D plus and I didn't really transfer, so I had to do that
all
over.
right.
Because I took that class like right when the pandemic hit, so and honestly, if I'm being honest, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I probably would have failed that class.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't know. That I'm not looking forward to because it's just. But yeah, most of my classes are in the. Well, actually, all my classes like morning classes basically. Well, majority of them. I have 5 classes that I'm doing, so yeah, like 2, 3 of them are in the morning, and then the other ones like in the afternoon. Unfortunately, one of the classes is like 8:15, so because right now I'm commuting to
Um,
5 towns. I'm still like in the process of trying to like dorm there.
right,
Right
right.
now, so right now I'm just commuting, and I have to get used to like waking up like
Yeah.
early in the morning again. For anyone that doesn't keep up with any of the stuff that I do, I have a medical condition. I have cystic fibrosis,
Right.
so usually I have to get up like at least like an hour, well actually like 2 hours early just so I can do all my medication and then like do like the last hour just get ready for the day. So that could be kind of time consuming. So I'm usually like up like 5, 4 o'clock in the morning doing all this stuff
Yeah.
just so I can leave in time because I'm also right now using what they would it's a disability bus to go like back and forth. So and you have to schedule that like at a particular time, and that's just getting a little harder because I guess a lot of people are using it now. So I'm trying to schedule that stuff a little earlier just to get to the place I need to get to in time. But yeah, that's kind of annoying, and I'm not a morning person,
Yeah.
so
I get you, man.
so yeah. But I mean, aside from that, everything's going pretty well. Like I'm enjoying my classes for the most part. So
That's good. That's good. Well, good luck to you, man. And we know you're gonna do well there.
yeah, you too, man.
Thanks. Well, it's funny. I was thinking about that. Like of how, like it's how it's been like. Like I can't believe it's been like basically about about 5 years since I've been a senior in high school and all that. And I remember I was, it just came across me the other day of the products that I did at Tech, of course, because I'm a broadcasting communications major. But when I was in high school, I wanted to focus more on film and all that stuff and filmmaking, and that's what I did for 2 years in 11th and 12th grade. Did a filmmaking course in this thing called Wilson Tech, which is a BOCES, which basically like a trade school for that, where I spent like 4 hours a day there, and then went back to my regular school and all that. But I remember a time when there were a few products that unfortunately that I wrote that never became films and all stuff that I thought were really great stuff that I did work like hours on, but one story for some reason that came back, and I looked on my Google Docs and I still have it, and I think you might like this because we've talked about the group Hollow Notes before, and basically in senior year when I was like 17. I was listening to like the Hollow Notes song "She's Gone," and I listened to it on the bus going to Wilson Tech in the morning because there was a bus that would take me there, and I was listening to it, and I listened to this like a few times and all that stuff, and like every time more and more there was this mental story that was coming into my mind. It was like this mental movie, and it was just like it was becoming more real and real each time that I decided that what shit I gotta write this down into like a music video. I gotta see if I can make a music video out of this. So I went down, like I was at my grandparents' house, went on their computer, and I started typing away, and I put the song on to use it as a guide again and all that. And this story just poured out from listening to the beginning lyrics, and not the 3-minute radio version. It was like the full 5-minute version. And and this whole story came to me naturally. And it was one of the few that really did that as a, filmmaking wise. Of course I did like a few films before that, but it was really something that was like, I felt like sort of like, something truly creative in a sense that I did that I was happy about, that I wish I got a chance to do, but it was also going to be a full big process that was just didn't seem like it was like I did not have the resources or the budget to do it the way I wanted to do it. But it was just this story of like basically if it was basically the story of the song about a bad breakup and all that stuff, and just having to deal with the fact that their girlfriend is gone and they're no longer with them anymore. And but I don't know. It brought back to me a lot of stuff of that, like how powerful that song was to me. That it was able to give me this big vision at even, and it's hard to believe that I wrote that at 17. Like when I'm looking back at it, I'm like, wow, like I can't believe like I wrote that like like 6 years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, and yeah, and it's one of my and it was just the story I just I guess wanted to share in a sense.
It's a cool story.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah. But I guess that's power in music, that does that, like certain songs move you a specific way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, I meant to ask you. So what music have you been listening to lately? Either it can be old or new. Like stuff from the 70s, whatever you've been listening to.
Lately, well, right now I'm just trying to listen to Kanye's new album.
Oh, okay.
But like one of the song I mentioned before that I said I really enjoyed that. Maybe go back to a song that he did like a few years back. At least like at least the instrumental of it, because the beat on the that particular song kind of sounds similar to that one. I was like, yeah.
Right.
But like I really, like aside from that, I'm not really listening to that much. I do want to like I don't know, go back and explore some things. Like just there's a lot of like stuff on like the back burner right now. Like I guess my main concern is just finishing up listening to this Kanye album, and then I'm gonna listen to the Drake album, and then after that, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, like for instance, like with what I've been listening to lately, I was listening to stuff because I've been working out at the gym in Oswego and all that, and I was listening to, because like I've heard of this group from my father, who he loved in the 70s, called, I don't know if you ever heard of them, called Little Feat.
No.
They're actually a really good band. They were in the 70s. Like funk influence, rock, all that. All that, and like got a lot of that Midwestern sound, the Midwestern Southern type sound. Very like very R&B-ish, and all that. Like the guy who was the frontman of the group, old George, was basically the powerhouse for the band, and died actually in the late 70s, in 79. They only released like 7 albums with him. They I think reformed years later, as like a different type of group and all that stuff. It wasn't the same without him and all that stuff, because he was really like the guy behind the music, and all that. But no, I was listening to some of their stuff, and like while I was working out, and I'm like, and their stuff's pretty good. I've also been listening to Steely Dan. Really, like I never really listened to that much Steely Dan before.
Don't they make like weird music?
Yeah, I mean, Steely Dan's been knows like doing like jazz stuff. They have like Ricky Don't Lose That Number, Dirty Work, Reeling in the Years, Do It Again.
Yeah, like I plan on listening to them eventually.
Yeah, Steely Dan's got good stuff. Listen to Little Feat, man. Listen to the song "Skin It Back." I was just listening to that, and that was like funky as hell.
Okay.
Like I listened to it for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, I freaking love this song!" And I listened to it like 4 times in a day, and I was just like, and I was just bobbing my head like already, like yeah, and just like the way it goes, like the way that like the singer just goes into it, like very like a fast paced like type of rhythmic talking, all that stuff, and it's just like very very funky. I think something that you would really enjoy.
Yeah, maybe like.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after, and then you can get a taste of it. Honestly, like it's just like I mean maybe it's just to each its own, but I think you'd like it. It's definitely very catchy and all that. But yeah, no, but yeah, no, that's basically what I've been listening to. I've been listening to still some stuff from the band and Crosby, Stills and Nash. So yeah, that's like kind of been my new type of thing.
Yeah. I actually met somebody who is really like into like classic rock, so I don't know. You guys might be in good company.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I try to listen to some of the stuff that you were into, like Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah, like I haven't listened to all this stuff because they have like such a huge catalog, so I wouldn't
Oh
even be
yeah,
able
yeah.
to
It was interesting
touch.
because I was trying to figure out like what are they, and it's basically just like two bands collided in one.
Yeah, because the
I,
guy leading it is George Clinton. He basically had like two bands.
yeah. Well, I knew who George Clinton was before, but yeah, that was like yeah.
I keep forgetting. I think he's been around since like the 50s.
Yeah, well, George Clinton, like he's still alive, and he's like 80 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys. I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot he goes that far back too.
But I don't know, like, what did he do in the 50s? Like, did he just start out as the 50s? Like, did he have any hits in the 50s now?
I don't recall, but yeah, I think it was either like 50s, maybe like early 60s, like around that time he
It said
started
on
it.
his
I think.
Wikipedia, like 1955 was like when he started or that. Or that's when the group was formed. But I'm like, maybe they're just talking about because I think it really is just George Clinton and just other group of musicians. I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. I would assume that he was probably doing whatever was like popular at the time, like pretty much like 50s music.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. He's definitely like I definitely want to check out more of that stuff. It's just I don't know if I'd be able to get through all of that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
yeah.
no, I was gonna say this just like oh wait, you go. I'll go.
No. I don't know what I was gonna say.
No, I was gonna say like there's still like a lot of music that I did want to like check out at some point. Like them, I still want to get more into like Prince's stuff. I know he has like a huge catalog of music. I wanted to check out more of like David Bowie's music,
Yeah, same with me. Yeah,
Rush, Jefferson Airplane, um,
good stuff.
some other funk bands from like the 70s.
What about Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah, them too.
Yeah, no, because they've got some good stuff, like funk wise too. Not like, of course they got their disco stuff like September and all that, but yeah.
I mean, they're pretty. Yeah, because they're kind of versatile. So yeah, they're definitely another band I want to get check out more of.
Yeah, same with me because I know they got a lot of big stuff too. And yeah, I mean, like no, I mean like stuff like stuff I do want to get more into too is like solo stuff of like Van Morrison, like Neil Young.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably say like at least half of the stuff that appeared like in the VH1's like 100 greatest artists of all time because like half those people I was like I've kind of heard the name before, but I'm not really that familiar
Yeah.
with their music.
Who?
Like Steely Dan.
Oh, Steely Dan. Yeah.
Steely Dan. The band. Well, I know I've heard a little bit now thanks to you. So.
Oh! They mentioned the band in the VH1 thing.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah. I mean, the band was definitely something like an influential, and they were more like kind of like I think big because they were they started out as Bob Dylan's backing band.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, that's how they started out, and it's actually here. This is actually an interesting story about like because when the story about how Dylan was this like folk god in the early '60s in Greenwich Village and all that,
Yeah.
Blowing in the Wind, Don't Think Twice. But when he started wanting to go more electric, fans got angry, and they would boo and they would boo him off the stage, and it started with the Jeez, I can't believe it's blanking on me. What was it? It was the festival, the folk music festival or something like that, where he went. That was the time. It was like Dylan went electric. That was like the biggest thing. He was starting to do more rock and roll stuff. That's like when like around the time of him like a Rolling Stone, and when he went electric, that is when he had the band, which was at the time they were backing a guy named Ronnie Hawkins and all that stuff, and they were called the Hawks. Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks. So they were at the Hawks at that time, and they were just really like Dylan's backing band. And if you watch the movie The Last Waltz, one of the guys explains like kind of how they got there and how they just called themselves the band. Where there was like like when we were with Ronnie Hawkins, we were called the Hawks, and then when we went with Dylan, they would just call us Bob Dylan and the band. So it was like we're the band. Why don't we just call ourselves the band? Because we called ourselves the Crackers, we called ourselves like the Squirrels and all that, and they just didn't work and all that, they said. And but an interesting clip is It's a famous clip you can find on YouTube where somebody screams in the audience to Dylan, Judas, and Dylan's like, I don't believe you and all that, and like this is like, and this is when he's playing with the band and all that stuff, and like they're like, he's just like, like just going right, he's about to go into like you're like a Rolling Stone, he's like screaming like you're a liar and all that, and then he goes to the guys and he says to them, he's like, play it fucking loud, and then they just like, and then they just go right into it and bam, right into like a Rolling Stone. And it's an interesting, like, if you watch the clip, it's really cool too, like, just how they do it. And like that was the thing too, because like Robbie Robertson from the band explains that every night they were just getting booed and all that, and they did not explain it. Yet Dylan was saying what they were doing was perfect, and they didn't understand this. They weren't, like, and I think the thing that's interesting of the reason why they were called the band was because, they weren't these mega superstars. It's funny how they all were, like nobody shined more. Like they all were like equal parts of the band. Like everybody had like a part that worked for it. They weren't like, see the difference with somebody like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young when they even both groups started around the same time. The band, like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young were a super group in the sense that they all had their bands that were big in the 60s before. Like David Crosby was in the Byrds, Stephen Stills and Neil Young were in Buffalo Springfield, and Graham Nash was in the English group The Hollies. They were all big bands that had stuff on the radio and all that stuff. So when they came together, they were like this group of, superstars together that were like all these four egos going together. They were all big, massive stars, but with the band, for instance, because, they were more of just like, playing with stars and more of like a backing band, they were, all these, trained, like professional musicians at the point when they, finally became their own thing. But, they were stars in a sense without really being, the stars in the sense like stars from to begin with, They didn't have like so much as that ego sense or that thing. They were just like, the best way to put it is I don't think any of them knew how influential or like powerful as an individual they were, or like how dynamic they were in the group. That's what I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, but like what? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, like I said, there's a few other artists on there. I definitely wanted to check out. Like actually, let's play a little game. Like, what artists do you think made that list off the top of your head?
Well, I mean, greatest bands of all time, 100.
Greatest artists of all time, but yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, the Beatles, the Stones, Dylan, Aretha Franklin, the Doors, Hendrix, Clapton. Clapton as in Cream, maybe Cream, the Police, Queen, maybe Madonna.
So far you're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm not a huge Madonna fan, which I know, I'm not alone in that theory, Like, yeah, like, I mean, I would assume that Jackson, Springsteen, Bowie, Prince.
Most of them except for like two.
Who was the other?
It was just Michael Jackson, not the Jacksons, and
well, no,
zero to Clapton.
Jackson. What about? Oh, Eric Clapton wasn't on it.
Cream was not him as like a solo act.
That actually doesn't surprise me. Cream, because Eric Clapton, even though he did have some solo stuff, Cream, I would say that's a good choice. I don't argue with that. That they just included Cream and not Eric Clapton. I think because Cream as a band, like, I mean, Clapton did some great stuff, but especially with Derek and the Dominoes, like the Layla thing. And even though he did have some solo stuff that was good, I think, like, the Derek and the Domino stuff is like says it all of what he did as a solo artist. I mean, that was like his best work, I think.
Personally, I would have put, like, if I had to choose like between one of the two, I would actually choose Clapton as a solo act, as opposed to just as a Cream as a band. Personally,
why? What do you not like Cream or no?
No, I do. I'm just saying, like, you just explained it. Like, he has, I just think he has like Cream is a good band. No one's denying that. But I'm saying, like, Clapton has even greater stuff like beyond Cream.
It is a little
That's what I'm saying.
surprising, but like I don't disagree with that because Cream was definitely big. I mean, they weren't around long at all. I mean, they only really had 4 albums, and their last album wasn't even really that much of an album, really. It was only 3 new studio tracks and just like 3 live performances. It's kind of more of an EP if you look at it that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say like VH1 technically had like a earlier list like this back in like 1998, but it was like called like the greatest like rock and roll artists or whatever. But it was kind of like in a similar vein to that. He and the Jackson 5 were on those lists, but like the updated one for like 2010, they were not.
So you said the band was on that list.
Yes.
Was Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young on that list?
One of those 4.
Oh, so Neil Young was.
Yeah.
No, like, I knew like when you said one of those 4, of course it's Neil Young. Because like to be honest, like the rest of the guys, even as great musicians they are, nobody had more of a successful solo career than Neil Young.
Yeah. All right, keep going because you're doing pretty well right now.
Did they mention? I guess I won't be surprised name, but like Van Morrison, did they mention him at all?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Okay, so Springsteen, right? They did have Springsteen, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And all right. Let me think. All right. Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
The Kinks.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Oh yeah. Elton John, Billy Joel.
Yeah.
All right. That's that. Eagles, Rod Stewart.
No.
Wait, no Rod Stewart.
No, neither of them.
What? Not the Eagles?
No.
That's surprising because the Eagles are known as one of. I mean, the Eagles are not my favorite group, but I know that they're considered one of the best rock groups of all time.
I think they were both on the first list, but not in the 2010 list.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they were actually, I think, two of the acts that got omitted from the.
What about like Frankie Valli and the Beach Boys?
The Beach Boys, yes.
Frankie Valli, no.
Not like that, but it's just the Beach Boys.
What about the Four Seasons?
Nope.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Like you naming some good acts too, like.
Yeah. Well, Elvis, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell me they have Buddy Holly.
They did not.
Fuck. Yeah. How could they not?
Again, I think he was on the first list, and then they took him out. The same case with the Four Seasons. I think they were on the first list, and they got omitted from the 2010 one.
Well, now what about Sinatra? Was he on there, or was it more of like rock artists?
Yeah, it was pretty much like artists more like from the 50s onwards, and no Sinatra. But I think he was also on the first one.
What about Ray Charles?
Yes.
James Brown, Sam Cooke.
No Sam Cooke.
What?
I know, right?
Yeah.
And he's actually one of those artists I heard a lot of people complaining about not being on the list.
That is insane. What about Little Richard or Chuck Berry?
Yes.
Both of them?
Yeah.
So both of them are on the list, but not Buddy Holly. See, that's
no. I know, right?
What about Jerry Lee Lewis?
Nope.
Bill Haley?
Wait, let me see. Was he on the list? Well, I don't know if he was on the list.
What about Bill Haley?
No, he definitely was not on the list.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't think so. If Jerry Lee Lewis wasn't, then he definitely wouldn't have been on, but yeah.
I'm not too sure about Jerry Lewis. That's kind of a maybe, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think he would. Well, if they had him on and not Buddy Holly, I would be like, what? What the hell is wrong? Johnny Cash, they got him on? The Everly Brothers?
Yeah, they have him on. Yeah. Wait, what? Who?
The Everly Brothers?
No.
Carl Perkins.
Who?
Carl Perkins?
No.
Dion and the Belmonts? Okay, I know that they. I'd be surprised. That's all I got. Oh, Neil Diamond, Carol King, James Taylor, Jackson Brown, Elvis Costello, Doobie Brothers.
Only one of those artists is on that list.
James Taylor?
No.
Carole King?
No.
Neil Diamond?
No.
Jackson Brown?
No.
Doobie Brothers?
No.
Costello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought you got that one. Like, yeah. He's the only one of that little list you made that he actually made that list.
Well, how about Joni Mitchell?
Yes.
Neil Diamond?
No.
Okay, yeah, it would have been wrong if Joni Mitchell was not on that list.
Yeah. Yeah, because I already know you feel a certain way about some of the people that's been omitted.
Oh, what about Sly and the Family Stone?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Chicago?
Who?
Chicago.
No.
Three Dog Night?
Nope.
Okay. I can't believe the Eagles and Rod Stewart were not on that list.
I know, right?
I mean, maybe Rod Stewart I could see, but the Eagles?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That was a little weird.
What about Hall & Oates? They're not, I'm gonna guess.
They actually did make the list.
Whoa. They beat the Eagles? Jesus.
Yes.
I mean, I love the Hall & Oates, but I listen to Hall & Oates more than the Eagles, but I'm just surprised. I would think the Eagles would have beat the Hall. Yeah. What about George Michael?
Yeah, he made the list.
Wow. Wait, so you can just remember this on memory?
Yeah. I know. I know. It's weird the stuff I remember, the stuff I don't like.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it makes sense that Neil Young's on the list, but how come Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young are not like all together?
I don't know. I think they should have been together. That's just me personally. I don't understand.
Do you know anything about them, or just like from my knowledge?
Yeah. I guess more so from your knowledge or whatever I've seen, like I guess stuff like VH1 MTV or whatever kind of mentioned them. I don't know that much about them. I just know they're a supergroup.
How have you thought of like getting into their music?
Yes, I have. Because I like the idea of like these supergroups. I just haven't really got a chance to like listen to them. So
Judy Blue Eyes, because it's a great song. It's 7 minutes, but what's so good about it's got the beautiful harmonies, but it just goes into these different like sections, you know, and all that stuff, you know. And then of course, like it ends with like this great like do 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 yeah. No, but it's just got like these great and if you listen to the whole first album of theirs, and it'll blow your mind. That's like the same with the band album and music from Big Pink. I mean, that album will just blow your mind too. Like with songs like Tears of Rage,
yeah,
which was actually a Dylan song. It was a song actually written by Richard Manuel from the band and Bob Dylan and all that. And it's lyrics from Dylan and apparently Manuel wrote the melody or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what opens up the album. But like The Wait, of course, is known as their best song. The Wait, you've got to listen. But no. Okay, do you know the Staple Singers?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I think I mentioned this in within the interview with Sabino, but I'm gonna tell the story again, and I'm gonna tell, and I'm trying to do it justice because this is a great story, honestly.
And also they're not on the list either, so
yeah, I'm not surprised. But they are great. They're a great group too, and the band was a huge fan of them. You know, they were inspired by them, and like you know, Robbie Robertson talked about how they had the records from the Staple Singers that the Staple Singers don't even remember. You know, and all that stuff. They had a lot of their stuff. But yeah.
Wait, I was gonna say before you get into your story, I did want to make this comment though. All right, so you remember like the chibi? Okay, remember Teen Titans Go, like the chibi, like
yeah.
comedic version of the Teen Titans cartoon.
Yeah. What about it?
They actually feature like the Staple Singers music on there as a gag. Huh?
What song?
I don't remember what the song was, but I just know
We the People. That one.
They only played it for like a. I don't remember I don't remember the name of the song. They played it for maybe like a minute. It was like a few seconds. It was just because like Raven, she was trying to meditate, and like Cyborg, he like taking over the tower because he lost his body got damaged or whatever. So he was he kept messing with everybody, and he does. So she was listening to meditation music. He's like, "Oh, this is boring." Then he played that instead.
Okay, so here I'll tell my story now. So now if you want to see the documentary and know what the band was, then watch The Last Waltz. It's a great documentary concert and all that Martin Scorsese did. Even though there has been some controversy of it just from the other guys in the group and all that stuff, but the thing about it is there's this great scene where it's a rehearsal performance with the band and the Staples Singers, and they're doing a version of the band song "The Wait," and look it up on YouTube because it's just one of the most beautiful things you'll ever hear. It's music. It's really like music to your ears. It starts off with Levon Helm, which Levon Helm was known as like the soul of the group, the drummer and the singer of the group. That was just like who sang the song, and like it starts with him singing the first verse like he does in the studio version, but then the rest of like Papa Staple does one of the verses, and then Mavis Staple goes into one of her the verses of it, and then they just the harmonies of them all doing it together, and like the Staple Singers, like I think in some ways like take the spotlight away from the actual band, and it's like it's like they're back, and it's almost like they're back in them, in some ways, instead of the Staple Singers, being featured for them, because it's like, and the thing is too, just these two groups feeding off each other, but the coolest thing about it is, and it's very distinct, it's very subtle, and you can barely hear it, but once it ends, you hear Mavis Staple whisper, "Beautiful." Like she's just like, "Beautiful." And it's just like, and the reason why I say that is just to show you how big their presence was in music, or just how influential, or just the meaning or the impact a song like that can have, or the way you hear it. It's like that, like with her saying it, just describes just the beauty in that not even in the song, in that version, And another great version of the song was in 2019. Robbie Robertson and Ringo Starr were part of this thing called Change the World, this type of benefit program or something like that, and they did this thing of like music around the world, where all these musicians played from different parts of the country and all that stuff virtually. And this was before COVID, actually. And they did a virtual version of The Wait. And it's beautifully done and all that. And somebody wrote on the comments saying, all we need to end it is Mavis Staples saying "beautiful." Because it's another great version. So if you want to look up The Wait, look up three versions. Look up the original version by the band. Look up the 1976 version, Last Waltz, with the band of the Staples Centers, and then look up the version from 2 years ago with Ringo Starr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because those are really good. Like, and that's what I'll say about that. It just
Oh, okay. But like, do you think you'd be able to guess anyone else?
Let's see. Can I? I don't know. Oh wait, Santana?
Actually, no.
No. Wow.
I know, right?
What about Deep Purple?
No.
Oh wait. Oh my God. I'm forgetting like the two biggest ones: Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Did I say them all or no? I don't think I did.
No.
Tina Turner or Ike and Tina?
Just Tina.
Oh really? Oh wow! I would think Ike and Tina, because they were more kind of influential in the set. Considering Tina just got inducted this year, and Ike and Tina have been inducted for years.
Yeah.
What about Curtis Mayfield?
Yes.
Well, now, you know what I just found out about Curtis Mayfield? I didn't know that he was actually in the 50s group The Impressions. Like Jerry Butler and The Impressions.
I completely forgot about that.
Was he on the song Your Precious Love?
To be honest, I'm not really that familiar with Curtis Mayfield's music.
Yeah. Well, I knew a little bit more about it from you because I know you were a huge Curtis Mayfield fan. I don't know that much about it. My dad like talked about it like one time. He was saying like, if you want to listen to like some influential people, listen to Curtis Mayfield. My dad was saying.
He's another one I want to like, whose music I want to check out more of.
Well, they also talked about too, like Leonard Cohen too at the time too. You know, was writing these great stuff in the '60s and '70s. You know.
Yeah, he also wasn't on the list.
Well, I'm not surprised because he's more known as a songwriter than a singer. I mean, even though he did have stuff as a singer. I mean, of course, like his famous song is "Hallelujah," which was, of course, famously used in Shrek.
Yeah,
but it's like one of the most famous songs that's just been covered over and over.
Right. Is there any other artists you can think of?
Not at the moment, no.
All right.
I'm surprised James Taylor is not on that list.
Nope.
Are the Beatles on that list as solo artists?
2 of them are.
Let me guess. John and Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't mention George as a solo artist?
You know, it's kind of interesting when you guys talking about earlier with when it came to that. I guess like in terms of like who's like more like I guess famous whatever. I've always maybe it's just me, but I have always kind of seen like John and Paul kind of like above the other two to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of how it was. That was kind of there was always the hierarchy when you hear even in the name of the Beatles like John, Paul, George, and Ringo. It was always that, and John and Paul were always kind of more of the lead singers in the beginning, but they were all for like the frontmen in a sense. I mean, but the thing that's funny is that George I think had like better albums than Paul in the '70s. You know, like I'm not saying that Paul didn't have great stuff, but like it was like even what Kato was saying like the last time that like John was the only one that he felt was like writing influential stuff, and I disagreed with him because I felt like George was also doing that, but not really Paul. I would say it was really John and George. I think you know.
I don't know any of George's like solo stuff. So
I think. Oh, well, George had the biggest one out of them all, and the first big solo stuff, the first post Beatles solo stuff that got to #1, and that was All Things Must Pass. He had the biggest successful record before the rest of the guys did. Actually, an interesting fact is John Lennon had the least successful solo career.
Really?
Yeah, Ringo had a better solo career than John.
It's kind of funny, but don't John have like the most like popular song in his whole career?
As John talked about, like in an interview, that when the Beatles broke up, he was worried about Ringo because he wanted Ringo to be just as big, you know, and he knew that Ringo wasn't that much of a songwriter. And John, Paul, and George did write songs for him even in the '70s because they were all even like they all like when they broke up, the only ones that were really like feuding was really like John and Paul, and even George and Paul too. You know, it was really like Ringo was the only one that kind of kept the lines with all of them. But to John and George, Paul was seen as the enemy. And for a while in the beginning, there was a big nasty feud between John and Paul in the press, and it was like very nasty feud that basically like ruined their friendship where like they were just like attacking each other brutally in the press. Yeah. And that happened for about 2 years and stuff like that. And they were battling each other out in their songs. Like, of course, Paul did in Too Many People. He was attacking John. He also attacked him in the song Dear Friend. John, of course, attacked Paul in the famous song How Do You Sleep at Night? And all that. And that's like that song was famously known as an attack on Paul. And that was like, I mean, it's a great track too. It's a good stuff. And George does the guitar work on that too. Like, and yeah. But the funniest thing is too, no. So but like what I was gonna say about John's, but John in an interview said he was worried about Ringo, and Ringo ended up having these really successful stuff. He had some of his own hits, but he did a lot better with doing old standards and making them hits again, like You're 16, Only You. And like John made a joke, it's like, and he's having a better solo career than I am,
Yeah.
And yeah, and no Ringo too. I think like because they all in 1973 released a big albums, and that was John Lennon released Mind Games. Paul McCartney released a Band on the Run. George Harrison living in the material world, and or spirits. Yeah, living in the material world. And Ringo Starr released the Ringo album, and the Ringo album I think was like the biggest one out of all of them, all the others. And the Ringo album was the only album really that was like a Beatles reunion in a sense. Not that they were all on the same track, but all of the members were on it on different tracks. Like Paul was on like You're 16, George was on Photograph because George co-wrote Photograph with Ringo. And John did the song "I Am the Greatest" for Ringo, which George also played on.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So it's like when they always like knock like the solo careers. I think Ringo also too had a successful solo career, but it wasn't really. It was like he only had it really for like 73 to 74. Like he only really had two big hit albums, which was Ringo and Goodnight Vienna. Then after he really kind of like that was when his stars sort of faded and he wasn't really as big as he was anymore really. Like I mean, George had some big hits even in the 80s. With like Cloud 9, that was like his last album really, and that was a big album. And then I'm trying to think of another one. Well, Paul McCartney, of course, was able to come up with some big stuff in the 80s too. I mean, he had Ebony and Ivory. Well, it's funny. I say that Ringo really didn't have that many hits after, but he was on a big hit song, where he played drums on, which was from Bruce Springsteen's band Stevie Van Sant from the E Street Band, who Stevie Van Sant ended up having a solo career, and then of course was also in The Sopranos. Was one of the main stars in it, but he had a song for what was going on in South Africa at the time with the apartheid, called Sun City, and Ringo played drums on that. And his son too, Ringo's son Zach Starkey played drums on that. Because Zach Starkey 10 years later was a member of the Who. He became a drummer of the Who.
Oh, they were on the list.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah. What about you? Oh yeah, you too then too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. ABBA.
Yeah.
Oh my God, ABBA was?
Yes, they were on the list.
I was just saying that more as a joke. Well, okay, then the Ramones have got to be on the list.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's see. Okay, Def Leppard, right?
Yeah.
Bon Jovi.
Was they on the list? I don't think they were on the list.
What about Run DMC?
Yeah.
Okay. Whitney Houston.
Yes. I was also gonna say they only had like 10 like hip hop artists on the list.
Well,
so you got one.
Bon Jovi must have been on the list.
I don't think they were on the list.
He had to be. He was one of the biggest artists of the 80s.
Yeah, and the Eagles in Chicago now and then, they were big. They were huge bands, weren't they not?
Well, Eagles, yeah. Chicago, yes, but not as big as the Eagles. Well, what about the Temptations?
Nope.
Mamas and the Papas?
Nope.
Oh, Diana Ross. Or the Supremes?
What?
Diana Ross.
I don't think they were.
What about Simon and Garfunkel?
Nope. That I know, because I know a lot of people complain about them not being on the list.
What list was this? VH1?
Yes, VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of All Time.
Yeah, well, that would probably be. Well, you know, it's funny how they had like Neil Young besides Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Because the one thing that's interesting is, like with the Woodstock artists, like the people that performed at Woodstock, the Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young performed at Woodstock, but people forget that Neil Young performed at Woodstock because he's not shown in the video. Because we'll also do with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. Keep in mind too, is because Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young first started out as just Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Because their first album, it was just the three of them. Neil Young joined them on the second album, due to Ahmet Ertegun, who was from Atlantic Records. You know, of course, he's a big, you know, figure and all that stuff. You know, discovered Ray Charles and a lot of the other big artists from Atlantic. But Ahmet Ertegun actually, yeah, like kind of like recommended him. He was saying to Steven Stills because he was, you know, he was involved with Buffalo Springfield, and he said that Neil Young would be a great addition to the group. And so Neil Young joined them in '69, and then they did the Deja Vu album. But during Woodstock, because that was their second performance, and that's actually like a line where Steven Stills says, "This is our second gig. We're scared shitless." And like Neil Young is actually there with them, but he's not shown. And the reason why was because the camera people on the stage, and Neil Young hated the fucking camera people. And he was saying to the cameraman, like, "Don't you dare, like, you should get a shot of me. Like, you should have a shot of me, and I'm gonna find you, you know." And like, and that's how he wasn't on it, you know. Yet he was performing with them. Yet he did perform with them.
Yeah.
But he's just not shown. He's not. He's nowhere to be seen in the video or in the Woodstock movie.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's interesting. I should probably look that up. I was gonna say, here's a musical act you're probably not gonna guess that I actually forgot was on this list.
Okay, just say it.
Depeche Mode.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
You don't?
No, who is it?
It's like an electronic rock band from the 1980s.
Oh, okay. I have no idea who the fuck that is. Never heard of him.
Well, no, because I legit forgot they was on the list. I was like, oh, that's a thing.
Oh, what about Van Halen? They gotta have been on the list, right?
Yeah, he's on the list.
Journey?
Yes. I forgot Journey was on the list, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're on there. I mean, you're doing well so far with this.
I don't know how many. I mean, I don't know how many names.
I think you got like half of them so far.
What about Joe Cocker?
Nope.
Lou Reed?
Nope.
Leon Russell?
Nope.
Dr. John?
No.
Harry Nilsson?
Nope.
The Monkees?
No.
I knew it. Well, Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
What about Jim? Okay, probably not. Jim Croce?
No. I don't even know who that is.
Jim Croce did Bad Bad Leroy Brown.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Bad Bad Leroy Brown. You Don't Mess Around with Jim. No, you probably heard it before.
All right, go on.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna Stevie Wonder. Who was I gonna say? Shit. What was I gonna say? Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah. Roy Orbison?
No.
B.B. King?
No.
Not B.B. King?
Yeah, he's not on the list either. He's another one people just like, yo, what?
Let's see. Wait, I'm just gonna look it up. The VH1.
Yeah. Yeah, like, all right. Here's one that you did mention. I was wondering if you was gonna mention them or not.
What?
Hendrix.
I did mention Hendrix.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
And the Doors.
Yeah. Actually, no, yeah, right. You did mention them. Here's one you didn't mention though.
Oh, Janis Joplin?
No, you already mentioned her.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. But yeah, she's on the list. There's a band that I mentioned a little earlier that I think I did it.
Oh, Rush?
Yeah.
Oh, Buddy Holly is on the list.
Wait, which one are you looking at?
VH1, September 2010.
Wait, let me check that.
He is. Okay, Chuck Berry. Oh, yeah, Sly and the Family Stone. Neil Young. Otis Redding. I forgot to mention him. Al Green.
Yeah.
Oh, BB King is on the list. Oh, the Grateful Dead, of course. Wait, is Creedence Clearwater on? Oh, the Birds. Wow.
No, wait. No, wait.
Oh, Sting is on too.
Wait.
What do you mean, Wade? Rod Stewart too?
No, I think you're looking at the old list. That's what I was saying.
You said the 2010 list.
Yeah, there's a 2010 list. There's a 1998 list. I think you're looking at the 1988 list.
No, I'm looking at the 2010 list.
I'm telling you, that's the 2010 list.
No, it says September 9th, 2010.
Let me look at this. No, because they have the actual like clips of it. They have like the actual show on YouTube. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Parliament Funkadelic's on it too. The 99. Oh, Fats Domino too. Oh, Tom Watts is on it too.
That's what I'm telling you. I think you're looking at the wrong list. Like...
And the band, the band is 81.
You know what? Let me This is one more.
What?
Like I said, I think you list because I told you it's two lists. They did one in 1998.
Wait, so which one are you? What, you just sent it to me?
Yeah, that's the last one. That's the updated one. Now, with that being said, I would one I think is a little better because for some people who said it's on that one as opposed to the other one. They cut out.
Oh yeah, did they mention Creedence Clearwater?
No, they did not.
What about Grateful Dead?
No, they're not on the list either. And yes, people were upset about that. I know, right?
Oh my god!
But you.
No, that's so funny. When they show Elvis's picture, they show the picture of the Elvis 1979 film. That's not even Elvis. That's Kurt Russell as Elvis. What the hell is this list?
All right.
They do have the Velvet Underground. That is Lou Reed's. No, they have the Velvet Underground. That's Lou Reed's group.
I forgot they were on the list. All right, here's a
solo artist though.
Here's one that you probably are not gonna guess. The Cure.
Oh, okay. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Let's see. They also have. Okay, who have they mentioned?
Oh, they have Public Enemy.
Yeah, they have him. I mean them. They got Tupac. They got Biggie.
Coldplay. Otis Redding. Good, they have Otis Redding. Tupac.
Yeah. Timberlake's on the list.
Wait, this is the 1998 one or the 2010 one? Oh, the 2010.
This is the actual 2010 one. Oh, Rage Against the Machines.
Right.
Rage Against the Machines on this list. If you know who they are.
I know who they are. Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Wow, they have Steely Dan.
Yeah, I forgot they had Judas Priest on here.
Oh, they got George Michael.
They got Rem. Yeah.
Oh, Hall & Oates. They do got Hall & Oates.
Genesis. Oh, here's what I forgot was even on this list.
Hall & Oates is 99. Oh wow, and Alicia Keys is 100.
Yeah, she made the list. Which, yeah, that's a thing. Oh, here's a band that. Here's a band I'm not sure you would guess. Cheap Trick.
Oh, Cheap Trick? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Oh, what about Talking Heads?
Yeah, they're on the list somewhere. I know that. I know from my memory.
And Mellencamp too, right? John Cougar Mellencamp.
No.
I'm surprised too. He was a big star.
Listen, they got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They got Iggy Stooges.
What about Electric Light Orchestra?
Nope.
Wow.
They got Beyonce on here.
Wow.
You sound so disappointed.
Well, Beyonce, I think deserves to be on there.
Let's see. They got Metallica, Jay-Z, Sade, if you know who she is.
I don't know if I do.
Peter Gabriel's on here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, let's.
Well, all right. We're almost at 3 hours, so maybe we should wrap it up. The video at least. So
Yeah. Let's see. I guess to go to the last one we talked about already, just to get like a speed round. NWA, LL Cool J, Outkast, Green Day, Beastie
is Vanilla
Boys,
Ice on there?
the
No, that's
Bee Gees. No. If he was on there, that would make this list completely illegitimate. Like that's not even.
yeah. It
We're
would.
not even gonna
It
joke
would.
like that.
It would have.
The Pretenders, Pearl
Oh yeah.
Jam, Nirvana, Mariah Carey.
Oh, the divas.
Yeah. Leonard Skinner's on the list, so I'm pretty sure you'd be happy about that.
I'm not a huge Leonard Skinner fan, but they're good.
Really?
Nah,
I thought you liked them.
not really. I'm not a huge
That's
fan.
interesting.
No, I mean they got some good stuff,
Really?
but I'm not a big fan. I like no, like I'm glad Steely Dan's on the
Yeah,
list.
I heard bad. Yeah. Like no, because they're Bob Marley. I completely forgot about him too.
Oh yeah, of course he should be on the list. Oh, what about Peter Frampton
Nope.
or Don McLean?
No. The Clash is on here. AC/DC is on here.
Wait, who are the
I
Cracks?
think that's who?
Wait, who'd you say? The what?
I said AC/DC and the Clash.
Oh, the Clash. Oh, I was like the Cracks. I was like, who's the Cracks? Oh, the Clash.
Oh yeah. Aerosmith, Radiohead, and Guns N' Roses. I think that's everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, so no Sex Pistols, which is kind of weird.
Wow.
I know, right? Yeah, Diana Ross is not even on this list, which is kind of
Yeah, Paul
strange.
Simon. Paul Simon.
I know, right? Oh yeah, he's.
Oh wait, is he on the list?
Yeah.
Paul Simon?
I thought he was. I'm not seeing him anywhere, but I think he is.
Oh, he's on the list?
He should. I think so. If my memory serves me correct, he should be on this list. But if he isn't, that's weird. Oh yeah, the Police is on here. So I'm pretty sure you're happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know you feel validated right now. Like, of course they're on the list.
Yeah,
it's the Police.
It is the Police. Yeah, of course they're on the list. How could they not be? It's like
let's see, Eminem.
The Police are on the list.
Yeah, but no Buddy Holly though.
I know that's messed up.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset about this. Like, what do you mean they're on the list? Pretty much like some of the guys you mentioned, like them, Chicago, Eagles, Simon and Garfunkel, Electric Light Orchestra, like acts like that. People are just like, yo, what do you mean they're not on the list?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's. I've been wondering if they're ever gonna like update it again, because I'd be interested in seeing like.
Do you know the movie?
What?
No, sorry. Continue.
No, I was gonna say like, I'd be interested to see like if they were if they did the list like today, like who would be on it? Like, what was you asking?
No, did you ever see the movie This Is 40?
I did not. I think I've heard of it though.
There's this line between because it's a married couple that are having trouble, so, like with like and like they're like their parents of teenagers and all that stuff, and they're like having this argument, and Paul Rudd's character saying it's like, but I feel like it's like we're like Simon and Garfunkel. It's like I'm Garfunkel and you're Simon. And she's like, what do you have against Art Garfunkel? He's got a beautiful voice. He's like, he's got an amazing voice. But the problem is I have all this voice, yet you are Simon controlling me and all that stuff. And she's like, that's because Simon writes the fucking song. Which I found so funny because that is true. Because even though Art Garfunkel was known to have a beautiful voice, I mean, it was Paul Simon that was the genius behind it. I mean, hell, he was the one that had the solo career. Like Art Garfunkel didn't have the successful solo career. It was Paul Simon because Paul Simon was the songwriter.
I don't know much. Like, what kind of music did they make? Like, because I'm not really that familiar with them. I just know
they
more.
Were actually they started out in the 50s. Actually, in like they knew each other like since they were kids. And the thing was that in the 50s they had a group called Tom and Jerry. They called themselves, and they actually got on American Bandstand, I think, with a few of their songs. And Paul Simon, I think, even was like on Tin Pan Alley, and I think like writing stuff, and like he was in the same boat where Carole King was, Neil Sedaka, Paul Anka, and then they were playing for a while. And then in like the early '60s, they broke up. Actually, they did the song "Sound of Silence" in '64, which was an acoustic version. They were going really nowhere. I think they decided to split up. And it wasn't until like 2 years later when somebody heard them, I think from Columbia, the song "Sound of Silence," and they added a whole electric band to it. And they came back, and they ended up recording stuff together again. Even though they were, I think they broke up for about a year or something like that. And then then they had stuff like and then like what made him really big was the film The Graduate. Like they did the soundtrack for The Graduate, and that's what made them the biggest stars.
Oh, okay.
Robinson, all that, and then "Sound of Silence" was used in The Graduate like 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the only song I know from them right now, and even then, I only heard that like maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 3 years ago. Like I heard that back in like 2018. That was like the first time I ever heard that song. Interesting enough.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I'm like familiar with them. But I'll ask this, and then I guess we can.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So, like I was asking for, all right. So, like, if they were to do this list like this year, like what artists like of now, or even like the last like 10 or 20 years, do you think would make the list?
Well, Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars, Ed Sheeran, John Legend, I guess. Drake,
Yeah.
Probably. Post Malone.
I agree with all those. I agree with all those entries so far.
Yeah, probably those are the ones, and well, of course, Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I would also choose. Even though I can't stand this band. What's that band called? Maroon 5.
Oh yeah, Maroon 5. I don't know. They would I think be close call.
I don't know, because I feel like they would make it, even if it's just like barely. I could see them making
Imagine Dragons. I think they would make it.
Maybe. I feel like they're more of a maybe, just because.
I think Maroon 5 is like on like a cut, like almost like they would make it. They would be close, but they just didn't make the cut.
I don't know. They're still a pretty big band. Like Imagine Dragons, I feel like would be more of just like not making a cut.
Are they still a pretty good band though, Maroon 5?
They're not a good band, but I'm saying they're popular though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, had they released anything really new though recently?
Well, they released enough stuff. Like if we were talking about like quality, then Madonna wouldn't be on the list. So.
Wait, what?
I said if we were talking about quality, then Madonna wouldn't have been on the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see them making it. I don't know, maybe like Lil Wayne or 50 Cent. I could see maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, like those are. Actually, let me ask you this: do you think Mac Miller and what's that girl's name? Amy Winehouse would make it?
Oh, Amy Winehouse, yes, and even Mac Miller, yes.
Yeah, especially since they became much bigger in death than in life. As sad as that sounds.
Yeah, well, actually, Amy Winehouse, I think, became more famous in death. Mac Miller, I think, was already pretty big before he died.
Well, he was definitely starting to get more popular as his
Oh,
career went on.
even in like 2013, like when he was really just starting out, and even like by 2015, he was already like the biggest thing on the planet. Everybody in high school loved him.
Yeah, I was just saying because I know a lot of people wasn't really feeling like his early stuff, but like when he started doing like being a little more experimental, is when he really started blowing up.
I think actually his first single was, now not as funny as it sounds now, was called Donald Trump.
I'm pretty sure you like that, right?
Yeah, no, his first single was basically like writing that like I want to be a rich guy like Donald Trump, even though now we know that Donald Trump was not that rich, really, you know.
Oh yeah, Daft Punk. I forgot about them. I think they definitely made the list.
Oh yeah, what about Gorillaz?
Them too, because like they have like those two acts. I think have a huge legacy. I would probably also throw in like Arcade Fire.
Yeah, have you listened to Gorillaz or no?
I haven't listened to enough of their music. I've listened to this. I've heard their stuff here and there, but they're another band I really want to sit down and like listen to.
My friend, like you should talk to my friend. He's a huge fan of Gorillaz.
Yeah, yeah. They're another one. I feel like there's another one like it's off the tip of my tongue. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe Her, because she's kind of gotten big lately.
Our friend's favorite song.
Yeah, artist. Yeah, I could kind of. What's the other band? I can't think. Oh, Panic at the Disco, maybe.
Oh yeah, Panic at the Disco.
Even though I still say that first album is the best thing they've come up with, like I could definitely see them be on the list.
It's funny because it's like who used to be really big in the early 2000s, but nobody really remembers her that much now. Norah Jones.
Who?
Norah Jones. Don't you remember when she used to be like the biggest thing in like the early 2000s?
What did she make?
Norah Jones?
Yeah.
She was she did songs like I Don't Know Why It Didn't Come, Sunrise. My mom like loved her music. Like honestly all the time we were listening to her album as like when I was like 4 or 5, and it was honestly like I didn't like that music that much.
You know what? I'm sorry.
But no, I'm saying, but she actually had some pretty good stuff. And her father was Ravi Shankar, who was the biggest guy in like Indian music, who George Harrison like loved and cherished.
Oh, I was gonna say, let's see, Doja Cat. I think she'd probably be on the list. I'm not sure if you've heard of her. She's like this female like rapper, singer, or whatever that's been getting kind of big. Mumford and Sons, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've heard of those guys.
I don't know. Well, aren't they the 70s or no?
No, they're not 70s. It sounds like they're kind of influenced by the 70s because they sound like kind of like an up to date like 70s southern rock band kind of.
Okay.
I think you would I actually think you'd probably like this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. So they're definitely another one. But I mean, I think for the most part, I think we. Oh, there is one other girl. What is? I cannot think of her name right now because she. It'll come to me eventually. Yeah, I think. I cannot think of this girl's name. It is going. She's gonna haunt me. I know she has a big mouth. She's always getting into beef with people. Oh yeah, speaking of which, John Mayer.
Wait, Cardi B?
No, not Cardi B.
Oh, John Mayer. Yeah, he's good. Like Your Body's Wonderland, that stuff like that.
You know what? Let me.
We should probably end soon. We're at like 3 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah, we probably should.
Why do we have? Oh my god, we have one person watching us this whole time.
I wonder if it's Taylor.
Can some? Okay.
Whoever's watching, leave a comment. And we'll shout you out.
Please leave a comment if you're not shy.
Yeah.
I can't believe this person's been watching us the whole night. Like, we're most of the night.
I don't know, cause I have my Well, I have my thing on the on the YouTube page. I'm not sure if it's
Oh, maybe
counting
it is
me.
you. I was wondering. It's probably you then.
Maybe. Oh, that's what her name was. Lana Del Rey.
Oh yeah. Bruce Springsteen's a huge fan of hers.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see her being on the list.
Yeah. Well, I think
But
that
anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that wraps up for tonight. Which so hope you guys enjoyed our interview with Brandon
slash slash
Vassallo.
slash tangent and
Please tell me I said it
meandering.
right. Brandon, I'm sorry if I said it wrong. I'm sorry, Brandon. But yeah, we like it was really great to have an interview with Brandon. Yeah. Oh, Brandon Vassallo. That's what. And no, and also too, glad that we had this music discussion. Talking about the 100 artists and all that. And we'll see you guys in the next live.
Yeah, and I guess we'll also continue on what's the Velvet Lounge saga. Was this
Yeah.
part of it or no?
What?
So was this interview part of? Was this episode part of the Velvet saga? Or no.
No. He was somebody from Suffolk.
Okay. Well, I guess we also have a Suffolk saga too. So.
Yeah. For a few sagas, I guess, apparently, according to Anthony.
Yeah, we do. So
Yeah.
tune in for that stuff. That's always fun.
Yeah, definitely tune into that.
For
And
more Velvet and Suffolk sagas.
yeah, definitely. Suffolk Sagas and the Velvet Saga. The Velvet Saga will be, I think, next week and all that. So thank you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next live. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.